And what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Juices Loose podcast, number 126. This will be a continuation from Friday's podcast, number 125, where we were talking about the Switch event, and we didn't even really get into the treehouse, and we didn't cover everything. So we're going to continue on here. Let's go through the introductions real quick. So let's say hi to Terrell. What's up?
Hey, everybody. We're still in what kind of Switchmas at this point, so
Yeah, the Switchmas going to go on for the next 7 weeks.
it's Switchmas part 2, the switching, all right?
Mhm. And then next up we got Robert. What's up?
What is up, guys? It is Robert at Gaming with me and Switch.
And back in his home, Rob have made it back from New York. What's up?
Yes, I am back in my hobbit hole, and it feels really good after being like across the country for a couple of days. But back and ready to do the Juices Loose Switch edition.
And not at home, but kind of still on his vacation, but back in the States. Meza T, man, what's up? Thanks for joining us.
Hey there, fools. Mr. T here, broadcasting live from my mama's bathroom. So it's going to be it's the only private room I could find in the house, so it's going to be a little echoey on my end, and I'll try to keep it at a minimum. But yes, I'm back in the States. This is like the second half of my vacation. So yeah, let's get it going.
I appreciate you jumping in, but I'm sure you just couldn't wait to talk about the Switch for another week.
No doubt. I had to get into this.
All right, so first time on the Juices Loose. I want to give a warm Juices Loose welcome to Retro Death, a longtime viewer of the podcast. And he made a funny video and where he was reading his diary out loud, where he's just been waiting to be on the Juices Loose. So it made me laugh. So I said, you know what, I'm going to have him on. So what's up, Retro Death, man? Welcome to the Juices Loose.
Hey everyone, the Retro Death here. Glad to finally be on the Juices Loose. It's been a while.
Yeah, so I just want to say link to his channel's in the description. And for anybody that's not familiar with you, why don't you just give a quick bio, where you're from, and you know what you like in gaming and stuff. So
well, basically, I'm Dutch. I currently live in France, though, and like most of you, I grew up with Nintendo. I've played Nintendo all of my life, and I'm a collector. But before anything, I just love playing video games. My home channel is just basically that: video games and also metal.
I just want to say, I once dated a Dutch girl. Her name was Marika Wilwerding. If you're out there, how you doing, girl?
How you doing?
She had the prettiest eyes. Do you also have pretty eyes?
Oh, my eyes are the best.
What the flying hell? He can't take vacations. He come back all weird and shit.
well, we figured out off air that Retro Death has pretty hair for sure.
Oh yeah.
Is that a common name? Marika?
Yeah.
It is? Okay. That's good.
That's a pretty name.
Yeah, she was a good girl.
We call your wife in here, like, what the hell is he doing?
I'm only talking about this because I'm at my mom's house. I'm safe. So.
Oh, okay.
Not like this is going on the internet or anything.
All right, so yeah, thanks for joining us, Retro Death, and we're gonna start with Meza T and your pretty much your impressions of the Switch event. So I'll start with Meza T. Just a quick. We graded them like on a number scale. I think I gave it a 7 out of 10. Just quick, your thoughts on the actual event, and maybe some of because we're going to talk about some of the details, treehouse, and all that stuff. So why don't you just give your quick feelings on the event?
I loved it. I would, if I put a number on it, I'd give it an 8. Obviously, there were some snafus we'll talk about, I'm sure. It pretty much went down the way I thought it would, except for the fact that Nintendo really emphasizing kind of that Wii feel in a way with the Switch. I wasn't expecting that, and I was very happy to see that when I started, when they started talking about the HD Rumble and all that. I started smiling. I love that stuff, and yeah, I mean, I had to watch it. I had to download it on basically onto my iPhone. It was the smallest, crappiest video. Because I didn't want to spend too much money on the cruise, because they they charge out the ass for like internet. I don't know why. It's BS because you spend so much money on that crap. But so it was hard for me to get like the trailers in is the way I wanted to. So my experience was a little bit, you know, disjointed. But when I finally got to get the full, you know, Monty, when I got home, it was great, man. So
what was your highlight? Two top highlight moments, and maybe one thing that was a little cringeworthy or you didn't like or something.
All right, top highlight for me, definitely, like I said, was the HD Rumble thing. I totally got it right away. I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, I don't understand," blah blah blah. I totally understood it right away. I thought the ice and the glass thing was brilliant. I just thought that was a really good way of conveying what was hard to convey to begin with. I love that. That was definitely top. And Super Mario Odyssey, man, like that was what I always expected Sunshine to be, all the way down to like the real, quote unquote, real world element of it. Because I remember like Miyamoto talking about Mario growing up for that game, you know. So I was expecting him to throw in some kind of real world stuff, and Sunshine didn't do that. I don't know if they just scrapped those ideas or whatever, but I felt like, you know, what I wanted from Super Mario 64 2 happened, and I was just overjoyed from that, man. It was a great reveal.
Nice. Any down moments or anything?
Down moments? I mean, other than the presentation, obviously there was some translation issues.
That was hilarious. Though.
Preach.
I mean, I pretty much liked everything I saw. I would have probably wanted one more big title in there somewhere, but I know how Nintendo works. They want to roll it out, you know, the more they get closer to the launch or whatever. So I understand why they didn't do that. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have any, you know, from the presentation itself, I didn't have anything that was like, oh my God, why'd they do that? So
all right. Yeah, you weren't bumming because of the featured so much motion controls in the beginning.
not at all. I loved it. So yeah, not a problem for me.
All right, Retro Death, why don't you give us your impressions of the event and maybe your highlight moments if you have more than one, and then we'll move forward. So go ahead.
Yeah, well, it started at 5 a.m. for me, so
Ouch.
we went to bed really early, and I didn't sleep, so I was that like hyped on everything when it started. And basically, if I had to grade it, I would give it a 9 purely for the fact that everything I expected to see, I saw it. It went down the way I expected. I saw the games I wanted to see. Some highlights for me, even though not my favorite moments per se, my highlights would have been Mario and Zelda. It's like beating a dead horse, but those two trailers, I felt those trailers. There was so much emotion and so much happiness when I watched it with my fiance. It was my favorite moment when we were watching, because when the Mario trailer started, you saw the city and this butthole, and it looked like nothing. And the first thing she said, "This is gonna be Mario," and I said, "No way, is this gonna be Mario?" And then he jumped out, and that was just amazing to witness.
So yeah, I had no clue, so I don't know how she knew.
Who else got a vibe of like Sonic Adventure when they saw Mario running around?
I feel like I have to obligatory raise my hand because of obvious reasons.
Of course.
There were so many memes on Twitter about that shit too. It's like, oh, we see who's copying who now, Nintendo.
So anything you want to say before we?
Just, I think my least favorite moment, and a lot of people might disagree, I don't know, is that I felt that Nintendo should not have started with the 1-2 switch thing. That was a little bit cringeworthy for me. And it lasted for so long. And when you saw the trailer, my first thought was, holy shit, Nintendo's going to start with like Red Dead Redemption 2 or something, you know?
Yeah, me too, man.
Yeah, that got me too.
And then it flipped to 1-2 switch, and I was like, oh no, don't do this.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I was good.
All right. And also, Rob and Robert obviously got hands-on with the Switch.
Oh yeah.
I was planning on like having you guys like go over all that, but you made 2 great videos, and I linked those in the description on this video.
Well, thank you.
The first one, you guys went over the hardware, and then the next one was the games, and just the joy on your faces. One of my favorite videos I've ever watched.
Awesome videos. Awesome.
Sweet.
You guys
That's
were
so great. Thanks, guys.
I appreciate that.
You guys just were so happy, and it was just so good to watch. Pure joy from playing video games. And I don't know. AGL said he was going to go or had a possibility of going. I don't know if he ever got it. Really.
I can't imagine because I feel like he would have reached out to me or reached out to both of us or something. And I thought about that because obviously I know Red Knight is in that area. But I assume since I never heard anything from him that wasn't the case. Unless I'm wrong, and it's like, dude, we should have all gone together. I don't know what he did.
But imagine that Sunday, that thing would.
Oh, he might have gone Sunday. Yeah, you're right.
That would have been ridiculous, though, to go. I mean, remember, I'm sure it would be like 12 hours and the thing's already closed, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they said first come, first serve, I think up to 250 people. And
Which
we had
crazy.
it. It's crazy. And we had an invite, as everyone probably knows. I was actually invited to go on a day where they allowed a specific number of people in. So we didn't have to deal with that part. And if that's what he did, on Sunday, that
I'm not
could
sure.
have been what he did. So I don't know. Yeah.
He was in the chat, so here in the live chat, so that's why I brought it up. I know he said I thought he might have had a chance to go, and I don't know if he could have made it or not. So
if so, hopefully he makes a video, man. I'd love to
I haven't heard from him in a week, so I don't know. But anyway, watch those videos instead of you guys like recapping everything here. I thought we could just go down some topics, and obviously you have hands-on, so you can chime in. Like if you want to just jump in right now, T said something about the HD Rumble was a highlight. So I mean, I guess if you want to, we could start by you guys just kind of going over that. I guess, and then I got some stuff about the treehouse I want to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, Robert, if you want to go and chat about that.
All right, so the HD Rumble is pretty damn cool. I'll say that because it so weird because I didn't really understand. I get like, oh, you feel ice. I'm like, but how are they gonna do that? Are you gonna feel like 3 different vibrations or something? But it almost feels like because we were playing. Remember, Juice, what you were talking about? Justine was playing or whatever. The marble game where it's like you have to count how many marbles are inside the Joy-Con while moving it back and forth, and you could feel stuff like roll along your hand. It's so bizarre, and literally you could feel different numbers hitting against the wall of the Joy-Con. So it'd be like dot dot dot, and then it was like I said 3, he said 4, he got it right, but we're in the same ballpark. You know what I mean? So it's crazy that we're able to tell what is how many marbles we think are in the Joy-Con, which is so weird, but it's so super cool. Same thing with the milking the udders. and
oh man.
And when you stretch it, it kind of gets like more intense. It's so weird, but it's cool. And
that was my favorite part of your guys' video when you're talking about milking the udders.
Oh, just wait. By the way, I'm rendering the video of most of my footage from the show that has a lot of both of us right now. It'll be up tonight. And there's a good 2-minute section of watching us do it, and it's absolute chaos. It's freaking ridiculous. I'm half embarrassed to put it up and half excited. So it's crazy.
It seems like, if you had a group of people playing that game, it could be really fun. Like, I don't think you could just like, it's one of those things that's not going to be fun every time. Like it could be like the most fun you ever had once, and then the next time you try to recapture it, and it's going to have to be something you can't force. But if you have the right group of people together, it could really be something.
I mean, it's kind of like
party, right? Like you have to have a group of people. Like me, I'm married, so I'm around married couples, and we're kind of boring and lame a lot. And and to me, that just seemed like a great like party game for us,
like an icebreaker kind of.
Yeah.
Who wants to milk some cows, guys?
And did they say if you could pick the games or if they were going to be random in the retail version?
So. Oh, you know what? They didn't go over that with us, Robert. They didn't.
In the treehouse, they said something I can't remember.
Like pick.
It kind of has a vibe of from the way it felt watching the demonstrations and then playing what we played. It has a vibe of like a WarioWare kind of thing, where it's sort of like quick fires. But the thing is, they also had 2 different demonstration booths. Like there were different rooms. Yeah. With specific games, like each room had 2 specific games that were letting people try and go back and forth. So like it seems like they were able to kind of pick the people hosting
on the Switch. You were able to. We weren't able to see the Switch game, like the actual like handheld. We weren't able to see it because they didn't want to show it. I guess.
Yeah.
They literally just didn't say you couldn't. They didn't show it. So if you noticed, in between while we were, laughing and stuff, they would pick a game and then they'd be like, "All right, so now we're gonna show you this."
Yeah, that's right. That is what you did. Yeah. So I think you pretty much can pick what you want, and it's like it's just like how Wii Sports was a hit for showing off the Wii hardware, and like we know Nintendo Land wasn't a big hit, but most people who played it knows it was pretty damn good overall. Like it showcased the gamepad well. I feel like this is the same thing. The only problem is it's it's not packed in, and so that's like the main
thing for me. I was like, that would have been a perfect kind of explore the cool new feature game, like Wii Sports did, and it was a pack in, and that was a major flaw for me.
It's very, very weird surprise. And to build on what you were saying, Retro Death, I totally agree. How it was unfortunate to see this as the first game. Like, I get why they wanted to make this first because of how it showcases, and especially in a Japanese presentation, it probably works really well. But for the rest of the worldwide audience, it's like the first non-Zelda game we ever saw for the Switch was this, which uses like actors and mini games. So it's like, oh man, we wanted something different.
And it's hard to convey what the actual game is in in that trailer. Like I couldn't understand what the hell they're doing. The treehouse made it look a little bit. I understood what was going on, but
there's also something that I feel that because it is not packed in, I don't honestly see many people actually forking over money for it.
Yeah,
no, that's a shame. If it was like $20-$30, I would pick it up for when having Smash Brothers game nights at my house. I think that would be a good alternative. But
I mean, it'd be a great drinking game kind of game to play. To be fair, like it really would be great for that, And like, if anything, as much as it's like, 1-2 Switch was kind of cool, the thing I took away from it was the HD Rumble, though, and just interacting with that. It feels like magic. Like literally, like there's little pixie dust magic sprinkled on the Joy-Cons, and the stuff that it achieves is just mind blowing, man. So it's crazy cool.
I hope they don't just relegate the HD Rumble stuff to games like this party game. I wanted that to be in a hardcore, quote unquote, hardcore game.
Yeah.
Because I remember, like, when I saw the HD Rumble thing, I immediately thought of the Stone of something from Zelda 64.
Stone of Agony.
Stone of Agony, right.
Yeah.
I immediately thought of that, and I was like, this is like the evolution of that,
Well,
I want to see that in a hardcore game.
Totally. And here's what I want to say about this is like the HD Rumble thing was like one of, if not my very favorite thing from the presentation, minus the Zelda trailer. As far as like new info about the Switch hardware, that blew me away. And I was so excited. And now that I've played it, it's like it's one of those things where a lot of ideas that gaming companies and even especially Nintendo, they try to do, like sometimes it falls flat and it doesn't deliver on the promise. Like, some Wii games worked really well, but think of all those Wii games based around motions we were excited for, Red Steel, that just totally just shit the bed and didn't pull it off right and didn't deliver. This HD Rumble, based on our 5 or 10 minutes with it, without question, delivers on what they're saying it is. Like they knocked it out of the park.
I just think I'm thinking, because I'm a huge fan of like point and click adventures, I could totally see some really smart stuff being done with the HD Rumble for, a game where you have to find clues or, something similar to like what was that game on 360, PS3 that kind of flopped? The Rockstar game.
There was
LA Noire.
LA Noire, like an LA Noire.
It's supposed to be coming to the Switch.
That's apparently rumored.
What?
No joke for the Switch.
I did not hear that.
Somebody who knew Super Mario Odyssey a few days before it was revealed, I guess, said there's multiple sources saying that's what Rockstar's bringing, LA Noire.
Which is bizarre because
that's strange.
That did great, right?
Like, who cares? Like, that game, no one's going to buy it because it's old.
Exactly. Bring GTA 5 at least. Like, holy.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's stay with the Rumble thing. I want to do. How about WarioWare Incorporated? Just think of the possibilities there.
WarioWare. Yeah, totally.
And
even like I was thinking, like, imagine like even like first-person shooters, you could feel like maybe the bullet come out of your Joy-Con like every single time, or maybe while you're stretching a bow, it goes like you.
Yeah, the bow and arrow thing I've thought of, like pulling a bow out of
because
your
you got
quiver.
the 2 Joy-Cons. You could do a bow and arrow.
Exactly, like that'd be super cool.
Wouldn't that
gimmicky?
That's great, because wouldn't that have been better? WarioWare HD Rumble or something, and then that I would have paid $50 for that. And you could have had all the cool elements, the quick draw stuff.
Yeah, they could have had all the same games, kind of.
Exactly. Yeah.
I tell you what, you could actually do like a Switch kind of sports game with a basketball, feeling the basketball go up and down, or a table tennis. all the stuff, they could really do that, and that
possibilities are there. Let's just see if someone does it. So, in the chat, Red Knight brought up a good point. He said, "Where's my Wii Sports 3?" So,
well, obviously that's the most obvious one.
Yeah, because you got the motion, you got this HD Rumble. And you don't need the sensor bar or anything, and it's like, why don't you just do Switch Sports?
Well, it's interesting because some of the things we're even seeing right now is almost like taking some of the mini games that were in the Wii Sports games and making full games out of them, like ARMS. Like there was a Wii Boxing, and now we have like the big evolution that is this new IP game called ARMS.
That's true.
And some of the stuff in 1-2 Switch, like there even is a table tennis thing in something.
Yeah, but it's weird because it goes by sound. It's
sound.
Sure, but it's still doing something, and it's evolving some of the ideas of what they've already done. It's almost like they took the Wii Sports ideas, and now it's like, 10 years and 2 generations later, we can now start making full games out of those ideas we created.
Well, maybe they're just a little bit tentative because of the quote-unquote Wii stigma, and they just want to make sure the thing sells well and then bring out that kind of stuff. I hope that's what it is, And
I like just the fact that the opportunity is there for a game like that to come, for a game like WarioWare to really have some cool, unique features, and then Metroid Prime 4 with pointer controls.
Don't tease me, bro.
That's what I was thinking about when I said hardcore. I was thinking I didn't want to say it because I know Rob.
Oh man, there's like with her arm cannon, like switching with your arm cannon. I could picture how like the HD Rumble would like move like back and forth over the Joy-Con or something. Oh my god, so cool, dude.
And I think Retro has something he wanted to add.
I wanted just to say that it could be that they're planning something like that, either the Wii Sports or the WarioWare, but I doubt, and that's probably why they didn't show it, because of 1-2 Switch, that they might keep it for E3 or something.
To get 1-2 Switch released first, and then do that.
Not drown it out.
And please, if they're making a first-person Metroid game, please give us the option to use the motion controls for aiming and stuff, please.
Yeah, you got to. You have to.
And did you guys play Breath of the Wild? Did you get a bow at any point?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Robert did. I never picked one up, but Robert did.
And you could use gyro sense.
I know, but did you have the Joy-Con separated when you got the bow? I was wondering if you could just point with one hand.
Oh, that's interesting. No, I didn't. I had it on the handheld. So no.
Okay.
Yeah. Now we did both play Zelda. I don't want to take up too much time. We did both play Zelda in like all the different ways you can play it, and that
in every
includes
single different way.
Yeah, and that includes having the separate Joy-Cons too. So I really wish that I.
Okay, that you can do that then.
Because it'd be sweet.
You can.
If you could just like kind of move the right Joy-Con to aim with the bow and arrow instead of like having to tilt them both.
I hope they do that. I didn't find a bow and arrow when I did that portion.
That's interesting. They I feel like they would have to, because or else you would have to sync both of your hands to.
Isn't it? You're not. I'm sure it's with one of the Joy-Cons with the pointing and stuff.
Well, here's the thing though, because you can. And Robert, I know we both did this at some point, when holding both the Joy-Cons in the grip and when holding the Switch itself with the Joy-Cons on the side, there's gyro in those for aiming in first person.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if you have your hands separated, like Robert said, would moving them both kind of counteract each other, or would it?
I'm sure it's like the right one. Whatever one has the IR sensor.
That's the one that has the IR sensor.
Well, you don't need the IR is facing backwards.
Yeah, it could just sense it anyway.
It's just motion. It's just the gyro. I'm just hoping if I want to have my hands separated for comfort, have the 2 Joy-Cons in each hand.
But they emphasize that, so it better be in there. They emphasize the comfort, laying back type of deal.
So I want to be able to just kind of use it like a Wii remote, and for aiming the bow and arrow, just kind of tilting the one in maybe my right hand, because that's what I'm used to. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's move on to, let's discuss the Treehouse, because we didn't really discuss that. I don't know. T, or how much you got to watch, but
I only watched the entire thing.
Oh, that's
it was on for like 5 hours. I didn't like that.
I watched the whole 5 hours.
That's
they
more
had
than me.
the-
I've seen very little of it, so I might have very little to add here.
Okay, but in between they had like dead silence, like that was weird. But
Yeah.
so I guess for the people that watch a good amount of it, what was maybe a game that the Treehouse won you over by seeing it on the Treehouse versus the event or a trailer? So Terrell, I guess we'll start with you.
If I had to pick, well, I kind of have two because I was interested in both of these games, but I'm a lot more sold on them now. One is Arms because I was already interested, and then the other one is probably Bomberman because I've never played a Bomberman game before, and from what I heard, he's been dead. He's been dead for a while, so I was like, oh well, they're gonna do some 8-player online 8-player local player on it. I was like, this thing's pretty cool. And then like 5 minutes ago, they go, oh yeah, the pre-orders are up for it. But yeah, I really like Arms. It's like that'll probably like that's like my first hype game. If that comes out like in April, I know they just said spring, but I'm gonna bank April since I'm assuming Splatoon will probably come out late May or June. That game looks so cool. And then
that sleeper hit right there.
Yeah, and the only thing I was concerned about is that I know how the mainstream gaming audience is about motion controls. So I was like, as long as I had like this game is gonna depend on how well if it has other options. And then people were telling me it's like, oh yeah, they said in the Treehouse, yeah, you can play with traditional controls. And I'm like, yes, this thing will have a future.
Yeah.
And Bomberman, I'm just glad to see. I actually found out that was through Nintendo. Nintendo's the one who approached Konami about making that game. So I'm
awesome.
super happy about that one.
So if they did that, you can bet they're doing it with other games, and which is
they've been in the background plotting and shit like they always do.
All right, Rob and Robert, I'm gonna kind of skip over you guys for a second here.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, you might have something you played that won you over, but for us that didn't get to play the thing,
all you suckers.
Retro Death, was there something? Did you watch much of the Treehouse, and was there a game that seeing it played by them kind of changed your opinion of it, or?
But the Treehouse is usually always, even more so than Nintendo Direct, one of my favorite things. I just love sitting back and watching the Treehouse. Unfortunately, that night I was sawing my couch in half, so I didn't see too much of it. I skipped through it, and not to double on what Terrell said, but it has to be Arms. When they revealed Arms, it was already one of my favorite things because I'm a huge fan of the boxing on the Wii Sports always. And they showed me what I was hoping for, like customization options and the specific moves you could do. So that made it a day one buy for me. Apart from that, I just checked about Mario Kart 8 to see if there was anything new, and considering there wasn't, it also showed me that I'm not buying Mario Kart 8.
That's fair too. Meza T, you might have the same answer, but
I completely have the same answer to keep the theme going. Because much like Retro Death, my second favorite Wii Sport game was the boxing, and I think I played it more strategic than most people played it. They kind of just flailed around, but like that whole moving both of the Wii remote and nunchuck left and right. That's how you moved and dodged. And so I'm already used to that, and to see that, and then obviously they're expanding it. I can't say that the Treehouse stuff sold me because I think I was already sold in the presentation of it. But that's the game for me, and I'm so happy about Bomberman. I'm a Bomberman fan from Super Nintendo. Saturn Bomberman was amazing. Love the Bomberman games on N64. I'm so happy Bomberman is back, and it looks so good. So.
I will tell you, you're going to be a happy man. That's all I can say when it comes to Bomberman.
Boy,
you're going to be a happy man.
Anybody know the price?
If you go on Amazon right now, it's for $60.
I don't care.
What?
Which I'm actually surprised. I honestly thought it'd be lower than that.
Yeah,
I mean, just because it's got 8-player online, I mean, I might have to get it.
There is an adventure in there, right? There
is.
It's single local,
and there's online play. Actually, that's true. So you know what? It's a full-fledged game. Actually,
So it might. It depends.
It may not be for everybody. I don't care if it's 60. It's good for me, but I know I can see where somebody who isn't a fan and sees the game and doesn't see the value in it. I totally get it. So
I've never played a Bomberman game either, not even for a second. So
that's what we'll be doing.
Y'all missing out, man. Y'all missing out.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, there wasn't. I mean, to be fair here, when's the last time Konami made a Bomberman game?
Not counting the cell phone garbage.
There was something on the PS2, right? Or was it the Dreamcast? Was a lot.
That does a lot right there.
Like early mid PS2, I think was
or
the last.
GameCube. No, there was one on the GameCube. There was one on the GameCube.
GameCube, yeah, that's what I meant, like that era.
Yeah, 6th gen.
Oh God,
that's crazy! I didn't know it was that long ago. Holy
Jesus! Crap. They just say, "Oh fuck y'all, fuck him." We need to make another Metal Gear, guys.
Take 8 years to do it.
Jesus.
So, I wasn't sold on anything from watching the event. So I was just the Zelda trailer blew me away, and Mario. The stream quality wasn't amazing, but I did like once Mario got out of the city. I did like that. I got excited for that. But the treehouse totally snipper clips, man. Like
yes,
that that looks so fun, and
it did look fun. That did.
I wish that I had like a roommate or someone at my house a lot to like play that game. But I really want to play it, so it's only $20. But that looks so fun. I'm gonna get it just to have it for when buddies come over, and hopefully, I got called a man child for being excited about that game in a live chat yesterday during Leveled Heads podcast.
Let's go get the diapers, guys.
And the dude
stick your vaginas, man.
The dude's name was NX. No, one guy was NX. The other guy, I don't know who he was. He said he likes me and thinks I'm a smart and good YouTuber. But he's calling me a man child, and throughout the old. Well, you still probably watch Disney movies then too, right? Like,
what? Why is that an insult?
What's wrong with Disney movies?
Yeah, what the hell? Who doesn't watch Disney?
And I was like, I think
the
Marvel movies are PG-13, and their comic books back at them. Of course, got
I was gonna say you don't like comic book movies.
But anyway, that and then ARMS totally went from no excitement to my second most anticipated Switch game. Well, probably third, I guess, after Mario. But for as far as in the first few months, I mean, ARMS, man, it looks so good. Hopefully, there's some fun, like different types of modes or something in there. But the core game looks great. They kept using the word depth in the event. They used it in the treehouse over and over, and just seeing how much different ways, you have different items on their hands and not just boxing gloves.
When I saw that, I was like, yes.
And we know why Terrell's excited, because he's hoping for that Ribbon Girl fan art to be hit.
Oh, stop it.
We know about you, man.
Oh.
But no,
I'm the only one.
It's like Overwatch meets.
Don't worry, you're not alone. I like her.
I'm about to say, I already knew I already got somebody in the corner. They got me. All right.
I'm sure it's on DeviantArt right now.
Oh, it is.
It is.
It's not like I looked or anything, but it is.
You deviants.
Speaking of, we have 69 viewers right now. What a coincidence!
Stop it!
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that's a coincidence.
Jesus.
But no, totally
ARMS is really surprising.
It's like Overwatch mixed with Wii Sports boxing, and I don't know, maybe someone said like a shooter almost at times, but I just like the unique characters, and it is one of the best looking Switch games, believe it or not. Like,
yep,
crazy. It looks so fun. So there was a few like games I didn't care to watch at the Treehouse. There was like one of the Square's older RPG, or a couple years ago, they had like a turn-based. Was it? No, it was not Way Forward. Who's the guys that did Trine?
Oh yeah, you're talking about.
Oh, you talking about Has Been Heroes?
Yeah.
No, because that's made by Game Trust.
I'm trying to think.
Frozen Byte I thought was the one.
Frozen Byte.
Frozen Byte sounds familiar. Yeah,
I was just trying to think.
Heroes is GameStop's company.
Is it?
Yeah, it's made by Game Trust, which is one of the first games from GameStop's new company, and it's actually
that was a very
exclusively-
unique name. That's very
Definitely not
Yeah.
buying that garbage.
But it's also available only at GameStop for that reason.
Wow.
So game
That's
has
so
been heroes.
weird.
And that's a game that we didn't have the time to get to and play, but I watched some people playing it for a little bit because they had a little back-to-back couch setup at the event. And it looks cool, man.
It looked cool to
That's
me.
another
It did.
game not to sleep on. Like, it really seems like a good Switch game.
And I guess since we're talking about some of the early games, like people seen that launch lineup and they really think there's only going to be 5 games at launch. Like,
what is this?
There's like 14, I think, confirmed or
well,
15.
OJ made the point. A lot of these games they have no release month or anything, but a lot of them are like they should be done. And I think he's 100% right. They're just trying to decide which games make the most sense and at launch, and then which games make the most sense in the next couple months to kind of fill out the lineup, and working with the third parties and everything. I think that's what they're doing.
And we kind of touched on this the night before the New York event. Like, they have to find something that's good enough counter programming to Zelda that people might actually buy it, because otherwise everyone's buying Zelda and not giving a shit about the other games.
Yeah.
So it's got to be something like no one else wants to put their game up against frickin' Breath of the Wild, but they do have to have more than just one game launch. You know, they only pulled that off one time with the 64. So it's like, okay, like, you know, a Skylanders potentially is good counter program.
Yeah, that too. Pilot Wings.
Yeah, Pilot Wings in 64. And then the third one was Wave Race, wasn't it? Wasn't that the
No,
third
it was
game?
like a month later.
Like
Yeah,
a month
it came out
later,
a month later,
So that, I think that's part of what when it comes to the launch day and the launch month, it's like, dude, Breath of the Wild, everyone's paying attention to and buying that game. So how do we make other things successful, I think, is what they're looking at.
I was told it looks like a GameCube game, so maybe some people ain't looking.
Well, whatever. You know what? GameCube games still look better than a lot of
Exactly.
I'm just saying.
These dudes today are hilarious, I tell you.
Yeah, man. That's crazy.
But yeah, so I definitely think they're still working out which games are going to go where, because but it's so true. Like, Breath of the Wild is going to would crush Skyrim. Maybe even, you know, Splatoon 2 or something. I mean, I don't know. But here's the thing. I was thinking about all the systems I've bought. The most games I've ever bought, like in the first week, or it was happened to be at launch, was the GameCube. And that's because GameStop forced you, or maybe it was EB Games back then, they forced you to buy, the only way to pre-order was to buy 3 games and an extra controller.
Wow.
So it was like $400 and some. So I bought 3 games. That's by far the most I've ever bought. Like Wii U, I bought New Super Mario Bros. U, and then I downloaded Trine 2. And I ran with those for a couple weeks, rented some games, and then eventually got Black Ops 2 when it hit $40. So it's like, I understand you got to have variety for every types of gamer, but having small games along with Zelda to me is fine, because I don't want another huge game. I'm going to get Horizon 3 days before I'm getting Horizon Zero Dawn for the PS4. 3 days before the Switch and Zelda launches. So
it's not just that, is that so many people say it barely has any launch games, but nobody on this planet is going to buy 10 games in 1 month. You're not going to buy a new system, a new console, 10 games for that console, and most people have like other consoles as well. Nobody is going to tell me that if there were like 20 games or 30 games launching for the Switch, that they were going to buy 10 games for it.
Some of these dudes have current gen consoles, don't have 10 games for it. So, come on.
You know, that's still, if it was only 5, I'd be like, yeah, that's stupid. But it's going to be more, and there might be 1 or 2 that I'm interested in, or probably not though. And it might even not be till ARMS releases that I buy another game.
Yeah.
And so anyway,
the
I think
goalpost
that
is
there's-
like it. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, I think that there still is, like, I pretty much am in agreement, like, the 1 or 2 games I'm looking at, maybe even 3 at launch is fine. I do think there's still a case to be made for, like, wanting variety, even though Retro Death, you're 100% right. No one's buying 10 or 15 games in the first 30 days. Like, no one's doing that. But I think when people, they just want to see a list of games. And to a degree, I do think that is kind of smart. I do wish there were, 5 really great looking games that were coming out in the first 2 weeks. And it's a shame that there really is Zelda and a smattering of other decent stuff. But it's one of those things where, again, we all know that consoles usually don't launch with like 5 awesome games. It's like 1 or 2 maybe.
Yeah. And what was the biggest complaint about Wii U's launch? Too many old games, man. Too many old games from previous, from the current and the gen before. So
yeah,
it's
and
just
ports
like
and stuff. Yeah.
ports, right? The ports is what I'm talking about. So you have pretty much none of that from what's been shown, right?
Yeah.
Other than Skylanders and Just Dance, which
Skylanders and Just Dance, what nobody cares about anyway. But
I care about Skylanders.
sorry, man.
but it's
I mean,
the
like,
same.
You already have Skylanders.
It's
You
the
don't
same
care
one
about
that
it.
launched on Wii U already,
Right.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and like, but by the time like we hit E3 and summer, it sounds like we'll all have Breath of the Wild, Splatoon, and ARMS. 3 big Nintendo games will already be available for this thing.
That's crazy.
So that's pretty cool. Just in the first 3 months, by the time E3 happens, that's really good news.
There's one weird thing to me. I think is a kind of a mistake. Is Skyrim being in fall?
You think that's a mistake?
I feel like it's a mistake. I feel like it should have been maybe summer at the latest, because who wanted people who want Skyrim the remastered or whatever,
Which I do.
Most of them already probably have it, or they have obviously they have somewhere they can play it already, and to push that thing in the fall when obviously it's going to probably come out before Super Mario Odyssey and stuff, but there's going to be other big games on other consoles, and most likely there'll be a couple of multi-plats on the Switch as well.
Yeah,
I think it's going to get a little bit lost in the shuffle.
I thought the same thing that fall is so late that I feel that
so late for a port.
And problems, because I was expecting to like maybe summer or something.
Yeah.
When they said fall, I was like, no way is that game then supposed to be done somehow.
Yeah.
I hope that
it's one of the first games we saw for the Switch reveal, so it's just like weird.
What if it's September?
Even
September would be okay, and like I'm a Skyrim nutbag, and I am really excited and happy to buy the remaster on the Switch, so I can't wait for it.
Yeah, I'm still gonna buy it, but it's just like.
Oh, do we really know it's the remastered though?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it's remastered. Yeah.
It's the remaster.
All it says is Skyrim.
It does not. Yeah, it doesn't say, but unless the footage they showed.
Well, the footage they showed looked like the remaster.
It did.
It's a remaster.
Yeah, it better be. If it's not, I actually probably won't buy it. To tell you the truth.
I have Skyrim on 360, and what I saw looked like the remaster.
Yeah, I don't know why they want to specify it was the remaster though. That's weird.
Maybe they're just not beyond like the Switch reveal and then Todd Howard addressing it for a couple of minutes at the thing. Maybe it's like now we're going to be quiet on this until we get through the launch, get through Breath of the Wild, maybe at E3, and then in the month after that, saying, here's the Switch version of this game, and then Bethesda can start pumping that. Like, it might just be too early for them to talk about it more than just to acknowledge it. Is my hope, because I'm pumped for that, man. I want it.
Let me
I want it
too. Just remind people that systems don't launch with like everybody's like 5 amazing games.
Yeah.
What are a lot of the people feel the Wii U launched with some pretty mediocre games. PS4's Resogun was pretty much the most well-received game out of the lineup. Everything else was either Knack and Killzone, or it was PS3 titles. So launches are never great. It's like people forget. It hasn't been that long. It's been 3 years. People forget that launches of systems, like the dev kits, don't go out super early, especially in this case because they wanted to keep it a secret. So yeah, it's not ideal that Breath of the Wild is really the only launch game that we know of. Other games may move into the launch date. Who knows? So until we see the official full lineup, but at this point, yeah, it's a launch lineup. Launch lineups are never great. N64 had the best one of all time, and with 2 games, but it had the best launch game.
Well, yeah, we had the best launch game ever. Yeah, but I would say Dreamcast was pretty strong.
So yeah, Dreamcast with Soul Calibur, 2K, football, and
it was just nice variety.
And don't sleep on Sonic Adventure. That was a good game.
Sonic Adventure was a good game. I like
it. It was a good game.
Damn it.
What? That's 3 games. So just people need to settle down. It's a launch lineup. So it is what it is, but Breath of the Wild looks amazing, and that's going to keep me occupied till ARMS comes out. So, yeah, it'd be great if I could have a secondary game that I could go to. But Bomberman, with you playing you guys online, that might be something that could take my time in between Zelda. So, it is what it is. It's not the best case scenario, but T brought it up the point. The Wii U launched with a bunch of third-party ports that were old games the best-selling ones were Black Ops and I think Assassin's Creed 3. Those were the newest ones. All the other ones pretty much 100,000 or less in sales. And to do that again, I mean, how someone said in Leveled Heads podcast, Nintendo hasn't learned from their mistakes.
That would be learning.
Nintendo and third parties had to learn from the mistakes of the Wii U. So maybe that's why. Maybe they just didn't get dev kits out, or maybe there's more than just EA waiting and seeing on the system. So
because I fully expected to see NBA 2K17. And
yeah,
like, nope.
Yeah, people don't realize that we're actually getting the new NBA.
Right. On time with everybody else.
Yeah, we're getting. It got announced in advance. We were like, "Oh, we're not getting any third-party games." And the only two games they're referring to is Mass Effect Andromeda and Red Dead Redemption 2. And I'm like, "Well, Mass Effect was probably in development before the Switch was even. The dev kits were already given out.
It obviously was. Yeah.
And Red Dead. Well, that's they just don't have a. It's that same thing I said before. There is no real Nintendo audience for a franchise that was never on Nintendo console.
Yeah. And Rockstar and Nintendo ain't been homies since 64. So
hey man, what about Bully? When Bully came out on the Wii,
they had nothing to do with that. I don't think. Right? It was like a second
was it?
party that
they just published or something.
It. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I forgot what I was going to say now. Oh, like if the Switch comes out and sells 4 million in the first month or something, you might see a different opinion from third parties. So. We'll see. I mean,
I think it will. The Wii U sold 3 million in 2 months, so I think the Switch is going to do a lot better than that.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
provided they're available.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the caveat.
So I mean, and pre-orders don't mean everything because I think the Wii U, the pre-orders were pretty much all secured before it launched. And there was plenty in stores, so we'll have to see how it goes. But all right, let's get back to the Treehouse, and let's just say, in that 5 hours, there was a lot of breaks in between. Do you feel they had enough games for the Switch and enough info in the Treehouse to make it worth that long a time? And they did a hardware breakdown, but there was a little bit of a technical issue. They still didn't answer some questions on a few things, but I guess I'll go first since I watched the whole thing. I know T did. There was a good amount of games, like I said, it's a launch lineup, but it would have been nice if they would have had some more down the road type games like Mario Odyssey. They could have showed that, some other stuff. I think it would have helped. They spent some time on some of the smaller games, which like Snipper Clips and Bomberman and stuff. Won some people over. I heard nothing but good things about Snipper Clips.
Yep.
From everybody who's seen that and who played it. So overall, I think it was a pretty good presentation. I was looking. I guess it didn't quite meet my hype level for what I was expecting from the Treehouse, but they ended with. They showed some cool stuff with Zelda, even though everyone's like, I've seen enough of Zelda. But they showed like taming the horses, and the dude was sailclothing down to like drop on a horse, and it totally kicked him in the air. It's like, nope.
Nope.
So, I mean, there's some cool stuff. We saw a sneak peek of the UI and the loading time for that demo. It was like 12 seconds to go from the UI, the menu into Zelda, and then it was like 22 seconds to load up the entire game. So, I mean, that's just demo. I don't know if it was installed or on a cartridge. So, we saw some stuff there. Overall, I felt it was pretty good, and I was happy. If they didn't have the Treehouse and just that event, it would have been, in my opinion, it would have been a way worse of a situation. So I was glad it was there, and I know people didn't watch it because they want to tune in to see them playing small titles and stuff. But it's good information. It's good to see gameplay. So I always like the Treehouse. And
people
I thought
didn't watch it. I saw 2 million views. Recently,
that's true.
It did have, that doesn't mean they tuned in for the whole thing, and they didn't break it.
Obviously,
And I would also argue too that unfortunately a lot of the people who do tune into the Treehouse, especially like after that Switch event, are probably people who are already feeling kind of good. But it would be nice if we knew that maybe people who are really skeptical or unhappy with the presentation would be like, well, okay, I think that was dog shit, but let's see what the Treehouse is about. Maybe that helps, and hopefully change those people's mind. But I don't think that a whole lot of those people would have tuned into the Treehouse, which is their bad. Really, they're missing out.
Yeah.
So
because the Treehouse makes a lot of sense. You don't want to plug people with too much, just not random, but just boring information, just bullet points in the presentation. You want to get your messaging out there as far as what the console is and all that stuff. And they pretty much did that in the presentation. And I liked the Treehouse because they got more in depth. Like I found out, I didn't know, but I found out that the Joy-Cons had 20-hour battery life.
Mm-hmm. 20 hours.
That's awesome. So, and stuff like that you get from there. They broke, like you said, they broke down the hardware and they showed all the little. They showed where the SD card, mini SD goes, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." We saw that thing, but we didn't know that's where it was.
Somebody predicted. Somebody took that launch trailer video and decided that was the SD card slot. So somebody was pretty with the analysis. I don't know. I don't think maybe Game Explain did it too, but somebody else did it. So I'll go next to Retro Death, but at first I want to just confirm. Yes, the Treehouse Live has over 2 million views. That's 5 hours and 50 minutes, and it doesn't mean they watch the whole thing. The Switch presentation only has 1 million views, and that's an hour long. So
wow. Well, but think of that. That was something where a lot of people were watching that in different.
A lot of people did watch that live.
And they watched it live. They watched it on IGN. They watched it on GameSpot. They watched it on Nintendo's website. Twitch probably. So like the YouTube video of that isn't necessarily representative of everyone.
Yeah,
and that's so million isn't so bad.
That's different from the Switch reveal itself, which only Nintendo had.
Yeah, 22 million views or whatever.
Yeah.
All right, so just since I'm right here, what do you think the top 3 game trailer view totals are for the Switch?
Oh, I already know it. I shouldn't even say it.
Well, then don't guess, because you know it.
Well, so you're saying like how much does like the news? How many views does the new Zelda trailer
Which are the top 3? Which games have are the 3 most viewed?
Well, Zelda and Mario, obviously.
ARMS.
And then ARMS, you think?
Yeah, I think ARMS.
Is it ARMS?
Nope. Sonic Mania has more than ARMS.
Yeah.
Ooh, go
Sonic.
I
knew that one because someone posted on Twitter.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, holy crap.
Someone posted on Twitter the difference between Nintendo fans and Sony fans. Because they took the PlayStation had the Sonic Mania trailer on their site.
July.
And then like Nintendo had theirs, and like Nintendo's trailer eclipsed them in views. It was like I think it had like 1 million more views than the
that's awesome
PlayStation trailer. I'm like, yeah, that's because.
And that's I so regret that Robert and I didn't have a chance to play that one. Like I watched some people playing it. They had a little section of it, but it was like too busy for us to get into with everything else we were doing. I so wanted to get my hands on Sonic.
Which is it's funny because I think I found out that that's one of the games Tantalus was help porting to the Switch.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Tantalus is the one.
It looks. Tell you what, man. Seeing it in person, it looks great. It's old school Sonic, and it's fast, and it's blast processing, and I'm so goddamn excited.
And that comes out supposedly at the end of May, so that's another game I got.
That is a big one for sure. So
Sonic's I just want to say Sonic's number 4.
Sonic's number 4.
Most viewed trailer.
Is it 1-2 Switch?
No.
I don't believe that.
Well, I was like, maybe I was.
Wait.
Like, a surprise.
It's pretty obvious once I'll say it.
1-2 Switch. What was this? It's not Xenoblade.
Mario.
You already said that.
Come on, people! You don't
Mario
make
Kart. Mario Kart.
Oh, right.
All right, so let me go down the numbers. So Super Mario Odyssey, 7.2 million views.
That's crazy.
Is that the most?
That's the most.
It's gonna sell it.
Zelda, Breath of the Wild.
Can I guess Zelda?
You can guess the numbers. This is the 3rd official trailer, so it's not the first one.
And if so, Mario has more at 7 something. I'm gonna say Zelda at 6.4.
I'm gonna say 5.5.
5.1.
Ah, greatness.
So Mario Kart 8, 2.36 million.
Okay.
And Sonic Mania at 2 million. And then neck and neck, ARMS almost beats out Splatoon 2. Splatoon 2 is at 1.49, and ARMS at 1.46.
Wow.
Good call.
And then 1-2 Switch is at 900,000. Bomberman's at 1 million. So
nice. Go
Bomberman's at 1 million. That blows my mind.
I'm about to say, yeah, because you wouldn't think people would be that excited over a Bomberman game.
I mean,
what about I know it's really short, but what about the Fire Emblem one?
Oh, that's probably not even a million.
That
I bet
Xenoblade has over 1 million.
That's got 800,000.
Okay.
Oh, it's actually pretty good considering.
Yeah, considering it's like 14 seconds long.
Hey man, we got until Wednesday. I'll get that full trailer. I'm gonna be
Oh my goodness.
And the parental
is over 1 million. That's what's too.
And the parental controls video has 1.9 million. That's a pretty good video. It's pretty funny.
With no information, no rumor whatsoever. Everybody pretty much predicted Fire Emblem Warriors.
I know.
I can't believe that.
That
I
was
did not
awesome
expect that.
That's my geek game, man. I can't.
We might be seeing it in 2 days. So
I need to see it.
all right, let's get back on. Let's talk about the online controversy for.
Oh god.
I just want to start this out by saying we don't have all the information, so it's really hard to I don't like to get mad or having like debates about something until we know a lot. So here's what we know. They're going to have an online service. It's free to start from launch till summer. It's basically going to be like the Wii U, and then in summer there's a limited version of a phone app or a smart device app that's going to allow for voice chat and messaging through it says through the smartphone app or smart device app, so tablets, smartphones. And then in fall, it's going to switch over to a paid service, and you're going to get the full version of the app. So basically, it's going to be a beta in summer, and I think it's going to be when Splatoon 2 launches. That's when the app's going to launch.
Yeah.
That's all we know.
Does it launch in summer, Splatoon 2?
Yeah, and so does the app. The app launches in summer.
Okay.
So I think it's going to be tied to Splatoon 2. We don't know the price, but at this point, it doesn't look like they're planning on having the system itself have messaging and voice chat. It sounds like it's only through the app from what their website says. So that's and then there's they're going to be redoing NES and Super NES games, adding that are 2-player and adding online multiplayer.
Yeah.
And you'll get they'll choose a few games that will be free for a month. You can try them, and then those games are going to be no longer free. And some other games will be free the next month. And if you like the games that were free, you can choose to buy them. Again, we don't know the price, but they're adding online. We know Super NES Virtual Console games are already like $7. So it could be interesting, but at least you can try them. Like Street Fighter 2, you might not need to buy Ultra Street Fighter 2. You could just buy Street Fighter 2 Turbo with online, So that's what we know. So let's get everybody's take. So let's start with Retro Death. What do you think so far from what we know?
Well, it's like you said, it's not like we know that much. Personally, I feel that's the only reason why they're waiting, why it's free in the beginning. I think Nintendo is going to see how well it's going to go. And depending on the feedback, they might alter it. But personally, I think even though nobody wanted it, because everybody thinks like Nintendo is so great for always providing free service and everything, I think it was to be expected that they were going to have us pay for it. So I'm not surprised by it. For me, it's going to depend on not per se the price. I don't care. It's more like how much am I actually going to use it? Because if I just play Mario Kart once in a while, I don't see myself paying for the internet, but it needs to be worth it. But it's not like we know that much to really say.
Yeah. The price could really be the thing that
the X factor here.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So it's hard to say, and I do want to. Somebody commented on a comment I left, like Nintendo's known for free online, so it's so BS of them to do it because that's what they're known for.
And so they're obligated to do it forever. Yeah. What about Sony?
But people complained about it.
People didn't freak out when they took away the free online from PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4.
Well, they kind of did, but it didn't last very long.
Yeah, and they put the dick back in their mouth like 5 seconds later. So
pretty much.
Sorry for being crude, folks.
And people complained that free online wasn't good enough. So
exactly.
Can't have it both ways.
Yeah, I'm about to say because most people say PSN's online is worse, and they went from being free to paid.
Right.
Yeah. I think PS Plus is fine, but I see what Tio's saying. Like it's like a lot of people lobbying these complaints toward Nintendo. Like there's all these problems. Wii U online isn't very good. The connection's not that good.
Which I never got that.
Connection was great. Yeah, connection was great.
I'm about to say, if you want to talk features, that's one thing, but like connection, I never got
features. Yeah, and but still, yeah, people complain about the features. Like, okay, well, you want them to fix that stuff. You want it to be more like the other guys. Well, what comes with the other guys is great online service. Oh yeah, a price tag.
That's right.
So if we want Nintendo to offer the same features, it really sucks and it blows that they're having to charge now, but they got to do it. And so it's without question disappointing. I wish they weren't doing this, but I can't give the other two guys a pass and then say my favorite company isn't allowed to do it. That's crazy. With the whole app thing, because I know that's part of what you're getting at, Juice, I kind of like the idea of what they're doing, but I do want the price of their service to reflect that.
Exactly.
Because we're already paying a damn cell phone bill for our texting and our apps, so I don't want to pay Verizon and Nintendo for the same shit. Right. I just hope that they fix that. If they charge $30 or even $40 for theirs, whereas the other two guys are $60, it's like, okay, we're paying for Nintendo now, but it's cheaper because they have a lot of the services available on everyone's smart devices that we already pay for. So
I have a feeling they might be doing it to keep the cost down.
That's a good point.
I have a feeling that's what's going on there. And
the interesting,
yeah.
Well, go ahead, finish.
No, that was pretty much.
I was going to say the question is going to be though, is how is the voice chat, like you're going to have to plug a headset into your phone to do voice chat?
Man, these are the questions. And then does it stop you from being able to use your phone for other things?
Yeah, that's true.
And
that's what I worry about.
Like what happens if you get a phone call, or what happens if you're off TV? Let's say, Ms. T's wife said, no, I want the TV. You don't have that set up, but let's say you did. And you're like, we're playing Mario Kart or Smash. How are you going to chat with me and listen to the game if you wanted headphones in?
Yeah, that's
so.
crazy.
And
there's a lot of questions there.
Yeah, there's a lot on that. And the other thing, no Ethernet port was confirmed. I was right, unfortunately.
See, but there's a LAN adapter confirmed, so it's like
but people were mad about the Wii U too. It was like, why do I have to spend extra money for this peripheral?
They're cheap, like $7, but still, a lot of people aren't going to buy that. So then we're going to be stuck with, like Robert having.
Well, however, I was
thinking, Greg, you would have to deal with that even if they were playing it undocked. Like, it's like, oh, I'm at my friend's house, so we can play Smash online, but I'm going to be using Wi-Fi anyway.
I feel like Nintendo is prepared for this, though. Like, if they're not including an Ethernet port, but this thing is the mobile device, the portable device that it is, they have to be prepared, and they're making an online push. They're freaking prepared, and they're asking people to pay for it. Nintendo, I just can't see them messing.
I can agree with that to a point, because the one thing we found out is that the Wi-Fi connection it can actually have access to is the
802.11 AC.
The AC. Because the Wii U didn't have that access. The Wii U had like basic Wi-Fi access, so it's using the faster Wi-Fi access at least. As far as the app is concerned, if it's like PlayStation's app, because I like PlayStation's app, like I don't have a problem with there being an app on my phone. My issue, especially if it's like PlayStation, except for the bull where I have to like download different sections of the PlayStation app, which that's just stupid. But if it has an app where I can chat and talk to friends and do that kind of stuff over the phone if I wanted to, it's cool. But if the app is only on my phone and I can't use it any other way,
it's cumbersome.
Well, at that point, it's like, well, why wouldn't I just use Google Hangouts, or why wouldn't I just use Skype or Discord? Like, it's like you're competing with other services that are free on your phone. So it doesn't even make sense on the phone perspective, on top of the issues you guys brought up with the whole how you're going to listen to the game and voice chat at the same time stuff.
Well, what's interesting to me is you guys might have seen, it was confirmed in the last day that the Switch itself, the tablet Switch, also can be put into airplane mode.
Yeah.
And that was actually a surprisingly big piece of news, because I think that gives us insight into how the Switch interacts with Nintendo's network. And it has a cell phone-like feature, and you would put airplane mode on so that your potential data and your Wi-Fi connection isn't being drained in a specific way.
That says something.
Yeah, maybe
that I think says something.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we'll have to see.
It's good news. I saw that as good news.
It's got the Bluetooth.
I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
As far as,
that was like my main frustration, because I didn't want to pay for online. Period.
I mean, obviously we don't know the details, so I'm sure hopefully I'll be less upset about paying if it's really cheap. But I definitely don't like the fact that, because that was one of the things I was saying in the beginning, is that great, if you want to have all the bells and whistles, make those guys pay, have those guys pay, and let me still have my service that I have on Wii U.
Yeah.
But
Well, and that means what if, we've theorized about this, what if when they give us the details, it does turn out that gameplay at least isn't part of what's paid? Like, they could still do that. And
Well, I
that's
mean,
just free for everyone. And
right now it says the online.
It says
Yeah,
online
they showed
multiplayer.
online multiplayer is locked
Yeah.
in.
Oh, it did say multiplayer. Okay. I
Yeah,
missed
which
that.
is strange because when they first said it, I was like, "Oh, so is it just the voice chat and stuff that's in the paid service?" For a second, and then when I started seeing it said online, I'm like, "Damn,
Oh,
all right,
man,
whoa."
I had-
That was
see, I
like
didn't see
that was a
that.
fuck me moment. I was like, no.
I'm
Darn
probably
it,
still just
Nintendo.
gonna use Hangouts, like we
Yeah.
ordered.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, but you still gotta pay just to play games online. That's
I know.
my issue.
We'll have to see how it's
At
implemented.
that point, I am gonna try the voice chat because I have to at that point.
We were talking about this yesterday with Juice, and to be fair, it's not like we have to see it like we're paying for all these extra features. The bottom line is it costs money for Nintendo to keep the servers up that they used to. We talked about how much they were losing, and I feel like it's not like they're trying to screw us over or trying to fill this gap that Microsoft or Sony are filling. It's just that they need it to sustain the servers. That's basically the bottom line.
Yeah. I mean, they're increasing the quality and the output of those servers, and sadly
Exactly.
that it costs money,
And so hopefully it's hopefully it's a really good online. And like I said, there's Bluetooth. So, I mean, you could buy a
Yeah, that's
headset
great.
maybe that Bluetooth connects to your phone and the tablet and the Switch.
Is that possible?
I don't know.
It's possible.
So we'll have to see. And I just want to, somebody said in the comments, and they made a great point. People said Nintendo was behind the times. They need to catch up to the times. They need to have better online. And until we know the details, I mean, if it's not better online, you just have to pay for it now. Obviously, you can complain.
Yeah,
but
and if it's full $60 price too.
yeah, everybody's been saying the Wii U's online's trash, this, trash that. And now they have a plan in place, and all the details aren't probably figured out yet, so we don't know yet. And it's going to be free till fall. I mean, that could be November. I mean, they might push it to November. Who knows?
Yeah.
So you're not going to be affected, and if you don't like it, you'll know because you'll be playing it for free for months at a time.
Yeah.
So
Well, and Retro brought up a great point, man, about them maybe using that time to get feedback and figure out the best way to do it.
yeah, so
Like they really could use that free period to gauge.
I bet it has some surveys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Send me a survey, Nintendo.
So
Just
we'll
don't let
see.
it be like 60 pages like the other one.
So we'll see, we'll get to try it out. Like I said, before that app even launches in summer, we're just going to basically have what we have on the Wii U. You're just going to play online with no mess. And if there's no messaging, like there's got to be some kind of social aspect to a friends list. I mean, there's got to be something day one.
Yeah, because that UI did not give me any hope when all we saw was like a damn news icon, the eShop. What was the other thing? It wasn't even. There's no internet browser.
No, there was a news updates from Nintendo icon, the eShop, and
what was the other thing?
I feel like that's
the album with the picture.
Yeah, the photo album.
I feel like that stuff is going to be coming soon. And sadly, a lot of people have asked me if we had a chance to play with that when we were at the event in New York, and no, we didn't see any screen or anyone anywhere demoing or showing that thing off. So I just don't think it was a part of what they were doing.
Somebody found in Breath of the Wild, they found options for replaying Link's memories. So that's how the cutscenes I think are going to play out.
Oh, great. Oh, I did see a post about that actually.
Yeah, and they were grayed out, no memories had been unlocked, and then you'll get to rewatch them. It's kind of like just watching cutscenes, selecting
I
which
think it's
cutscene.
the same thing.
Maybe you have to watch the memory though if you miss something to learn something. Who knows? But anyway, that's all off topic. Some people did explore a little bit, and I don't know what happened when you hit the home button. Anybody try it?
No way, man. No. I wasn't gonna mess with that because they were all so friendly, but they're there to make sure everyone's playing the game and having a good time. So I didn't want to start fucking with their program and be like, oh, let me play around with your UI, and we were the first two people to sit down at Zelda. I told that story. Robert took us right to it. He's like, oh, there's Zelda, and we ran and got the first.
Well, yeah, because literally, the first thing you do, everyone's clapping. They're like, welcome to play the Nintendo
welcome
Switch.
to heaven, bitch.
And then all of a sudden, we're recording, but I'm like, all right, I recorded, and all of a sudden I turn around. No one's walking. everyone's standing still looking around, and I see Breath of the Wild. I'm like, Rob, let's go Breath of the Wild right there.
Yes.
Well, here's a question. They had headphones at each station. Did you happen to see what the
Yes.
headphones were plugged into?
I think the TV, wasn't it?
No, they didn't. I actually did. That's a good question because I thought about that. And they were plugged into a separate sound device that had like a little volume control. So, so what I couldn't see was where that was plugged into. But everyone who was running the different Zelda stations, and to my knowledge, I think that was the only game that had headphones available.
Yeah, it was the only one.
Yeah, they wanted you to be really immersed in playing Breath of the Wild, and I couldn't see what the little sound volume control device, what that was plugged into.
It potentially could have been
probably the dock. I would assume the dock.
Well, the HDMI could have been going to the TV, and then they had audio out from the TV going to that headphone thing. Probably
that's also true
because it wasn't plugged into the top of the Switch. The headphone jack.
It definitely was not. Although to be fair, they have the big cords. That's obviously has a bunch of shit going into it at the one thing.
But they were wired headphones. They weren't.
They were
wired.
Yeah, there was a wire. And I will also say, what's interesting is now the first demo we did right when we got there, the first time we sat down with 20 whole minutes to play Zelda the first time, and at halfway through they had us undock it and play it on the actual Switch tablet, and that's basically when your head explodes and you can't believe what you're doing. And at that point, the headphones were still working. If you remember, Robert, we both had headphones on.
Oh,
but at the end of the day, the last thing we did, of course, was also go back to play Zelda again. And when that happened, and we had Robert play it on the actual Switch, I remember there were no headphones. We weren't using headphones at that point, and there was, I believe, sound coming out of it.
Well, if you undocked it and the headphones were still working, it could have been a Bluetooth box that just was to a wired headphone, so that no one could walk away with it.
It also could, but wasn't it? Wait, do you remember, Rob, if it was one of the setups that had a wired like strap down from the Switch, or is it just a strap, or maybe that's a wire too?
You mean when you were holding the actual Switch?
Yeah,
itself?
you know how everything's like strapped down.
Yeah.
And how the actual tablet was technically strapped, but that could have been a wire to something. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's I know what you're talking about. It was strapped down both times because it was a different station the second time we played. I was using a Pro controller for the second time. So I don't know. There was a couple. It seemed like there was volume coming from the Switch and the headphones as we played, but everything had wires. Everything had wires.
There's even like modern receivers now, surround sound that has Bluetooth. I don't know if they can do 5.1 through the Bluetooth, but you might not even need a wire for the sound. Like you might be able to just have Bluetooth to a modern stereo. So anyway, that's a little off topic, but I think this might be the only Nintendo podcast out there where 33% of the guests have played the Switch. I just want to throw that out there.
That's pretty good.
That is for sure going to be the case. Yeah.
Exclusive.
Exclusive juices loose. Hands on, yeah.
Since we're talking about, before we move on to the next topic, just real quick, Breath of the Wild. What's your thoughts?
Oh my God. It's amazing.
Are you asking us, the hands-on guys?
You're too.
Okay, well, go ahead, Robert. You can go for a minute.
I mean, like I said, that was the first thing I saw, and then so many things happened at once. I sat down in front of a. They set it up like it was a broken
stone
Coliseum. And then I sat down. I saw Breath of the Wild in front of me, and then he handed me a Joy-Con grip, and I'm like, oh my God, dude. I'm very overwhelmed right now.
Just reliving it as you tell that story is making me freak out.
It's crazy that we even did that. It's still unbelievable.
Yeah.
Did you die? Did you die in the demo?
Multiple times.
Did. I did not, but Robert died like 2 or 3 times.
Because I jumped off the Great Plateau. I jumped off the Great Plateau thinking I could go out with it.
When he told me that, I was like, dude, you jumped off the plateau.
I was climbing down, and all of a sudden it just felt like it goes, ah! And I'm like, well, I guess I can't do that. I was sneaking around. A boar ran into me, and I fell over, and then I started punching up. Well, first of all, I was shirtless. I got to say that. That was awesome. I mean, I guess that's the awesome part. And,
really?
I'm going on record saying I gave my Link pants and a shirt. I'm just saying.
Really? Nah, yes, I couldn't. I couldn't.
Both times.
Nude Squad. Okay. I still got to continue. And I was facing a bunch of bokoblin and started beating them up. I took their weapons, and then there was one point, and I always bring this up. It fascinates me that I didn't even know this happens in the game. I don't think I've seen it. I shot. You've all seen that big skull in the Great Plateau. You probably did. And then you know how you
there's like explosive barrels.
Yeah, there is. And then on the top, there's like that little lamp. Once you shoot it down, it explodes. It makes a huge explosion. And all of a sudden, a bunch of bokoblin that was in there, some of them died except for this one blue guy. He's all badass running at me with, first of all, I go inside. His club's on fire because of the explosion. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't think I can verse this guy. I'm all shirtless and stuff. And then I go, and I hit him. And his club falls on the ground, and I pick it up, and it's still on fire. And then he goes. He has no weapon, and he like begs for mercy. Like he points at me to stop. Like stop. He's like stop. And I'm like, it was amazing. It fascinated me that the AI begged for mercy right there. And literally within a split second, I just burned him alive and go. It was amazing. It was fascinating.
Yeah, and that was captured. We got that one filmed.
Yeah,
too, so
that was filmed. So,
that footage is coming. I'm going to edit that.
That's
soon.
good. It's good stuff. And everybody has a different story, which is the beauty of this game. So,
I know,
Rob,
it's amazing.
Rob, why don't you, what was your quick Zelda experience?
I mean, it was so much the same, and like it's so hard to even process what happened. And it's great because I was a little bit caught up with like the utopia we just walked into. And all of a sudden, Robert just like darted in front of me, and he's running somewhere. And I look over, I'm still kind of like filming all this amazing shit. And then he's like, Rob, come on. And this lady's like, come play Zelda. And I was like, oh, shit, okay. Like, let's just do this now. And so we were the first two people to sit down, and it was great. And like we start playing. It's the stuff that we've all seen, to be fair. So it's like Link, open your eyes, you put on the clothes. Yeah. You go out and see the vista, you see the old man and push a boulder, and then it's like you just go. So we did that section of the Great Plateau, and it's so beautiful. And when he walks out and shows that open vista, and you're actually seeing it on your own screen, it just does something to you, man. It affects you. It gets into you, and you're like, this can't even be real. And he was really great. The guy who helped us the first time, he's like, here's Hyrule, and like you can go anywhere. Like we've heard them say that on other presentations, but once you start playing it and it sets in that what you see is literally you can go anywhere, it really, really blows you away, man. And it's really just pick a direction. They're like, just pick a direction and have fun, is what they say. And you go in a direction, you run into bokoblins, and I found an axe like almost right away after the first bokoblin I killed. What I noticed, and I'll talk about this more on my Zelda only video with footage I'm going to do, but what's really interesting is like the jump in Zelda, man, changes things, and I learned that really quickly, and I like it. It's a good change, but it changes like how you think about Z targeting and attacking, and that's what I wasn't prepared for it to feel so different to Z target, and then like, oh, different buttons, and I can jump back. And I can jump forward and do like a jump / attack with my axe. And some of the buttons that like the attack button is in like a different place now. And it was just, it definitely took getting used to in that respect. But you know, you play for a little bit, you just find random shit, you fight random bokoblins. The second bokoblin I started fighting once I had the axe, I was in a pretty open area with a little broken castle next to me. I was going to go to after I killed this guy. And then there was like some hills off to the right. And all of a sudden, I started attacking this one guy with this axe, which is really slow. And then these arrows start coming at me from nowhere from this bokoblin that just popped his ass over the hill. And he's like, oh, I'll just kill this bastard. And the guy who was like helping me, he's like, oh, you're in a lot of trouble now. And I'm like, yeah, I know that. Thanks. I'm getting shot by arrows. And I destroyed that bokoblin. And I went to go fight the other one with the arrows. And it was actually really hard for me to hit him. And I ended up switching to like the stick that I had instead of the axe, just to see like what the stick was going to be like to fight with. And yeah, do not do that because the stick sucks. You don't want to fight anything with a stick. Use an axe or a sword for sure.
Did anybody find a shield and shield surf?
Yeah,
I did.
Oh,
yep,
no,
I did find a shield.
Not shield surf though. No, I
You
didn't
didn't
do
shield
that.
surf?
Oh no, I didn't even think to do
I did grab a shield, but I didn't shield surf.
All right.
Yeah, I didn't think about that either. Yeah.
So everybody, look forward to the Rob and Robert's videos of their, experience there with.
Oh,
some
it's
footage.
coming. It's coming.
Excited to see that. I guess we're done with the online part. We kind of talked about all we could until we know more.
Yeah.
Let's play a quick game because thanks to Active Gamer Life, he directed me to the Nintendo Japan YouTube channel. So what do you think the top 3 most viewed Switch games are in Japan? I'll give Retro Death. You've been quiet. Why don't you guess? What do you think the top 3 in Japan are?
I'm gonna say, because I was surprised that for us Splatoon was so low. I'm gonna say Splatoon is probably very high, if not first. I'm gonna say maybe Mario, and I'm not gonna say Zelda. I'm gonna say Arms.
All right. Anybody else want to throw a guess?
I'm gonna keep my hat
in.
in. I'm gonna keep my hat in the 1-2 Switch ring. I feel like that's like a dark horse somewhere. So, and not necessarily because everyone loves it, but just because it was a weird, oddity, curious game, and especially in Japan, I want to think that a lot of them checked that out. So that's my guess. It's my dark horse.
I'll say the first one is probably Splatoon because I know how well that game did in Japan. The second one I'm gonna say is probably Mario, but the third one I'm probably gonna if it's Japan. And I'm trying
just
to
say
think
1-2 Switch, man. Just say it. That's the answer. That's the answer.
Oh God, I don't know. It's
Don't
probably. Yeah, I'm about to say I don't think it's 1-2 Switch. I really don't.
Oh damn it!
I really don't. I guess Arms.
I think Splatoon and Arms are definitely 2 of them.
Yeah, because I can't think. I know Zelda isn't popular enough in Japan to really justify it being that high. But yeah, that's actually, you know what? Fuck it, Zelda.
All right. Robert, you got a guess?
Yeah, I'm gonna say third is Zelda, second is Mario, and first is Splatoon.
So my
Mario
guess.
Odyssey, obviously.
Ms. T, you want to throw a guess out there?
I didn't hear the question. Somebody had to use the bathroom, so I had to leave my office.
When you say somebody, who's the somebody?
It wasn't me because I would have been able to hear and still.
Flashes in the background and shit.
Top 3 most viewed Switch game trailers on the Japan YouTube channel.
The Japan, Splatoon was probably number 1. Number 2, Mario, and number 3.
The cat weighs in.
Bomberman.
I don't even see Bomberman, honestly. I don't know if they're getting it. Let me see.
I guess that's a no.
I don't
even. Yeah, I don't even see Bomberman.
Damn. Well, can I change the last one then?
Yeah.
Let's go with. Let's go with the Arms.
All right. So 2 people had the right games, just the wrong order. So Splatoon, number 1, almost 1.29 million. Wow. I think that's higher than was that higher than the US?
A little bit.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. No. Splatoon was like 1.6.
Was it? What did you say?
1.9, 1.6.
Wait. I'm gonna go look it up while.
Number 2, Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Really?
891,000.
Oh, that's why.
Number 3, Super Mario Odyssey, 874,000.
Yeah.
1-2 Switch
you from over here.
1-2 Switch is the lowest at 112.
Wow.
Arms 127,000.
Wow.
Mario Kart 8 513,000. So,
but to be fair, I'm sure a lot of
Mario?
Japanese still watch the American trailers anyway.
It wasn't by much.
I don't know.
I don't think it was by like a major amount though. Dude.
And
It wasn't by much, but it's still surprising that Mario.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is at 190, basically 199,000.
Yeah, I was like, Xenoblade 2 didn't get as much of a
Japan don't seem to like Japanese games anymore.
No.
Yeah, apparently not, man. I'm surprised.
Well, I mean, here Xenoblade got over 1 million views.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good news. Really good
going on in
news.
Japan? They don't like.
I'm sitting there looking for the views, and for some stupid reason, I went to the Nintendo of Japan YouTube channel.
Look up the US there.
I was supposed to look up the US, and apparently America. Apparently, my mom was like anime, and I said, "Oh, okay."
I think everybody watches the American Direct
because it's the greatest.
even here in Europe, even me, when there's a Nintendo Direct, I always watch the American first anyway. And I think maybe in Japan too, most people just watch the American trailers more. Maybe.
I'm telling you, that's what I think it is. I don't think
that makes a lot of sense. That's
really why it's at 7 million. Mario Odyssey, not just Americans watched it.
Yeah,
that's true.
They had like Treehouse like gameplay stuff and all those. I mean, Japan's got a small. I mean, they're not install base, but they're
a small citizen.
I was like, excuse me, sir.
Yeah, their population.
Video games, man.
Yeah, their population's lower, so most of their gameplay videos.
That's a hell of an install base.
Retro.
Nice job.
It's like 100,000 views. So
Retro, I'm curious. Like in Europe, you mentioned how you always check out like the American Nintendo Directs. Is that usually like something that's like promoted, or how does that stuff? Because you're the only one who's in a different country than us.
Well,
so how does that usually play out? That stuff.
I basically follow all Nintendo channels that are like UK, America, and Japan, and whenever there's a Direct. And because the UK, so many people get this wrong, and it's such a pet peeve of mine. But the UK, that's just England. That is not Europe.
Right.
Yeah.
And Nintendo of Europe is in Germany, but the Nintendo YouTube channel, that's only UK. So what I do is I watch the American Direct first, especially now with the region locking being gone. And then afterwards, I still watch the UK one, because whenever you guys in general get Reggie, we get, I think his name is Shibata.
Yeah, that was my next question. I was curious how that,
And I love that dude. He is so cool. And we often get most of the same trailers, but we always get mostly different editions of video games.
Yeah, y'all get all the fucking special editions. We're seeing that in America. Like Fatal Frame,
man.
No more of that nonsense.
Yeah, I think that's dead now because with Breath of the Wild in America, you have 2 editions.
Yeah.
Which is why I made sure to check. And you have a small version and a giant version.
Yeah.
And we have only 1 special edition, which is in between. We do not get the map, and we do not get the carrying case, for example.
Wow.
Oh. Wow, that's so weird how that stuff happens, man.
Well,
and it used to be $120. I paid $100 for it, but yeah, so it's almost the same price.
Because the Master Edition had that pretty big Master Sword plastic statue. But that carrying
I basically
case
get the statue and the CD. That's it. Well, and the game.
That's crazy. All right, so let's move on to the price of accessories. There's another hot topic item. And I do want to say the Juice is Loose a record has been set for live viewers. We've crushed it. 91 was the peak so far, and that's just
nice.
Huge. So thanks to everybody who's tuning in. We got a lot of viewers still.
Yeah, thank you.
So let's talk about another hot topic topic here, and that is the price of accessories. So I'll run down the stuff I know. The dock. The most expensive thing, $90 in the US for a separate dock. Joy-Con pair, $80. Switch Pro controller, $70. The Joy-Con separate, I don't know, they must have a left and a right separate. $50 a piece.
They do, yeah.
The AC adapter is $30. I'm trying to find the Joy-Con grip separate. I think that was $30 as well, maybe. No, it turns out the grip does not charge the Joy-Cons, so there's no battery.
Yeah, people were asking me about that, like some of my personal friends and some people on Twitter while we were at the event in New York. And I ended up, Robert might remember when we were playing ARMS, I was asking some of those guys to check on all that stuff for me. They wanted to know if both the grip charged, and also there are those separate wrist straps that are also supposed to charge the Joy-Cons as well. You know, the wrist straps that slide in and they have the extra buttons for the shoulders. So there was the stock ones that don't charge and then special ones that do. And so I was trying to do research, and I will say all the Nintendo folks working there were so helpful, and they were jumping to answer questions. They had to go run and ask someone else. They were doing this research, what comes in the box, what doesn't, this and that. And so they confirmed one of the things was what you just said, Juice, that the grip itself does not charge.
Well, they do have a charging grip.
Yep.
That's currently available at no price. So
yeah, that's one of the things that they also said. They're like, in the box comes the Joy-Con grip, doesn't charge. It comes with the 2 wrist straps that don't charge, and then separately are the charging versions. So they confirm that stuff. Yeah.
So all right, I'm gonna start in. You could say damage control this, damage control that, but
damage control.
If you look at the price,
goddamn damage controller, man.
the price of controllers is just ridiculous. I mean, $60 is the new standard, 65 for the colored PS4. Pro controller 70. Yeah, that's high. But the thing that bugs me the most is the separate dock being $90. Like, to me, they showed I don't know if you guys really looked at the dock, but the back pops open and there's a HDMI out, the USB 3.0, and the USB-C for charging for the AC adapter. And then inside there's the two USBs. Where people thought there was a fan, it's just hollow right there. There's just a little tiny spot for where on the right where a circuit board would be for the USBs and stuff. Obviously, they connect to the bottom so that when you drop the switch in, I thought maybe the AC adapter was going to plug into the bottom, and that's what's protruding out. But it's that's built into the dock. So to me, that don't seem like $90. So I was looking forward to putting a second one down in my basement for my 82-inch projector. So if I wanted to play, I could just already have it set up and just drop it in. So that to me is the biggest wait on
a third party one.
Yeah, maybe there'll be a third party one because it doesn't do that much. But the Joy-Con pairs at $80. It's technically two controllers, but I mean, really, I'm going to use it as one. It's a little pricey. There's a lot of tech in there, and whether you think that tech's worth that or you're going to use the motion controls or not, that's just the fact of the matter. And then in my juice opinions, I kind of had a revelation that Kimishima is a businessman, and he's not Iwata. Iwata took pay cuts so people didn't have to get laid off, and I think he was a little, price of DLC for Mario Kart 8. That I just think Kimishima is a different guy, and everybody was excited for Kimishima. He's a business guy. He's going to get Nintendo going in the right direction, and I just have a feeling that these prices are a result of Kimishima looking at the bottom line a little more than Iwata did. So
I agree.
So that's, it sucks. And I'm not buying a Pro controller right away until I use the Joy-Cons and the grip, and then I'll decide if it's good enough or not to play Zelda. But I do think it sucks. These prices are high, but the PS4, colored controller is only $5 cheaper, and the battery life on that's 5 hours. And they confirm the Switch Pro controller is 40. So I mean, you're not getting that 80 of the Wii U Pro controller, but it does have more stuff inside it. It's got gyros, it's got the HD rumble, and
it does so many more things.
The Pro controller
we didn't ask for all of that, so why are we paying for it?
Yeah, the Pro controller has the HD rumble. I don't know how I think that's why those grips look the way they do.
Because they're quite a bit. Having played it, they're quite a bit bigger than we're used to. The grips, they really are. They're comfortable, but they're bigger.
So, that's my take. Retro Death, why don't you give your thoughts on the price of accessories? And they're probably, I don't know if they're higher in Europe or not, but
I didn't double check the prices in Europe yet per se, and they do seem high, but I feel you probably pay for what you get. I was just, in all honesty, just super surprised that you were able to buy everything. Like the dock, for example, with the Wii U, I couldn't even get a fucking adapter. I've been playing the Wii U basically all day for the past year, and then at one point, midway through the year, my adapter to charge the gamepad died.
Oh, really?
I went to the game store, and even at the game store, I could not get an official from Nintendo, an official charger. So I had to buy some cheap knockoff brand to be able to charge my gamepad. So I was just happy that they offer everything right up to the dock. It might be a lot of money, but personally, I'm like, it's there.
Right, that's true.
Who wants to go next?
Let me go.
All right,
go ahead.
All right, I'll try to be quick. I asked about the Joy-Con, or I asked about the Pro controller for the HD Rumble because I was wondering the price would justify them because having extra tech in there. Don't have a problem with that. Like you, Juice, I'm going to get one later on at some point. Not getting a day one or anything. I don't need it right now, so it doesn't matter because the grip and the Joy-Cons is a Pro controller without the D-pad. That's the only thing that's missing. So I'm not going to miss that at least in the initial games that we get. So what else? I think the Joy-Cons are worth the price because I'm excited about the tech in them. So for me, it's worth it.
Yeah, because what was the Wii Remote nunchuck?
Yeah, I was gonna say the Wii Remote was like $50 at launch.
40 and
No, they
20?
were 40. I think they were 40 and 20. You got it.
So yeah, $60 for a Wii Remote nunchuck. So
yeah.
Oh, that was at launch?
yeah.
They were always nunchucks were always $20.
And the nunchucks like
I thought the
nothing.
Wii Remote was higher.
There's nothing in the nunchuck. I mean, there's some gyro, a little bit of gyro, and that's it.
Yeah.
And obviously the buttons on it, but there's not a whole lot going on with that. So
yeah.
To me, it's justified. Like I said, I like the tech. I was blown away by the HD Rumble. I like that Nintendo is not abandoning motion controls, so I'm excited for it. For me, but that dock can go to Hades. Fuck that dock. I'm not. There's no way I would pay $90 for that. And I don't know. That to me is an egregious profit grab. Because there's no way that thing is anywhere near approaching $90 to put together.
Yeah.
Right.
So
that's gouging right there.
That's gouging.
I wouldn't think the thing's $5 maybe manufacturing cost. 5 to 10.
I would be surprised if it was $10 to manufacture that thing. I'm serious. So, other than that, that's pretty much all the accessories, right?
The AC adapter's 30.
AC adapter, yeah, that's kind of high too.
Yeah, that's a pretty simple looking AC adapter.
It should be half that, to me. But then again, it does have. Does that plug into the USB?
Yeah, that.
So that may attribute to because it's going to charge faster than your regular, your average adapter or charger or whatever.
Well, I wonder if anybody if you already have a phone. I don't know how many phones have this Type C USB yet.
USB-C.
That's all it is. It's just an adapter with USB Type C, and that's all that plugs into the dock. Like
a lot of phones use.
It really shouldn't cost that much with USB-C.
No,
there's no reason.
No.
It's not like the highest price. Obviously, I think the biggest gouging example here is what you said, T. It's the dock, but that's too high for a USB-C.
Yeah,
and you could probably.
It's just not as offensive because it's at least within an affordable range.
And you could go alternative with that. Like you can buy. I'm sure.
Well, most people are going to be doing that for everything.
You probably have one. You can buy a different cord. I'm sure to be way cheaper than that 30.
Well, the argument I've been hearing a lot is the whole. Well, people are going to lose those Joy-Cons, so that's that's why it's.
Well, don't lose them.
Yeah, don't lose them.
Like
people lose their cell phones.
I'm about to say to me, it's not as offensive as the Pro Controller, which you don't have, and you're spending almost just as much for. Because I would almost argue probably most of these controllers are jacked up in price. I think Kimishima's playing a game here. He's like, look, we're gonna see how much the early adopters get into, and then they'll make this because Kimishima's probably gonna wait until the holiday and he'll drop the price on a lot of shit and be like, look at all the sale, and then all he's really done is that he got all the extra money in the beginning.
Yep.
And he'll probably still be making a profit when he drops the price because he'll just drop it to a normal level. I know he's playing the game. And see, it just sucks because that means the earlier adopters are going to suffer for it if you were the kind of guy that says, I need to buy a fucking dock and extra Joy-Cons and a Pro Controller all at lunch. So
everybody do us a favor and don't buy that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so go ahead.
Yeah, I'll chime in a little bit here. I have to say it's tough because I feel a little bit biased when it comes to judging the price of most of the accessories because having actually gotten my hands on the tech, it helps me further justify in my brain where Nintendo probably got these prices from because I've now experienced what the Joy-Cons feel like, what they actually do, how effective the technology feels, both separately and together in the grip. And the Pro Controller, that gyro, man, and again, it's in footage that's going to go up in like an hour or two I have. And Robert's going to have a bunch of it too. That gyro, like playing Splatoon in the Pro Controller is legit. Yep. And it got HD Rumble, whereas like you said, Juice, a $65 PS4 controller for $5 extra, you're getting gyro and H motherfucking D Rumble like in a controller. That is That is a great value when you break
And
it
8
down
times
to a
the
$5
battery life.
And
Yep.
8 times that alone
true.
was worth $5, right? So there's no doubt that I wish a Pro controller wasn't $70, and I wish the Joy-Cons weren't 30 a piece or 50 a piece or 80 for the two. Like it sucks that Nintendo has to charge so much for this. But when you break down the value and the technology compared to what the competitors offer for their controllers, there is no question that the controllers specifically still ultimately are justified. What I'll say is I haven't quite yet made up my mind if I'm gonna pick up a Pro controller day one or not. One of the things that I learned, especially from playing like Breath of the Wild, a big 3D adventure where you control a camera and a character, is even though the travel on the Joy-Con analog sticks really isn't as good or as far as we would really want, the whole thing damn works, man, and it is comfortable in the grip. And so, without question, your average legit gamer could get by without a Pro controller probably for the life of the Switch if you really wanted to save the money. You can do anything with those two controllers in the grip. So there's a reason to save $70. We just like our Pro controllers, so we want to buy that. The dock, yeah, it's too expensive. $50 would have probably been like a nice sweet spot of like charging extra money to make money, but realizing it's just a piece of plastic with just a couple of guts inside of it. I wish there was more guts inside of it. I wish the thing did more for the Switch experience. But since all it really is just something that, it's a portal to the TV, charge appropriately. And I think that you nailed it, Terrell, with the whole idea that they're going to probably drop the prices on a lot of that stuff this holiday or after the holiday, like within the first year or something.
And let's point out, let's just nip it right in the butt right now. Anybody like, I'm on Amazon, the DualShock 4 is only $52.99. The systems have been out for 3 years. They weren't $52.99 back in 2013. You couldn't find them for under $59.99. I mean, it's just the Switch is new. Wait, I'm gonna put one in my cart on Amazon, and you get notifications when price changes. And I'm just gonna someday it's gonna be a deal of the day, or it's gonna drop $10 out of the blue, and that's when I'm gonna get it. Because I mean, you can pick up a standard DualShock for 47 something on Amazon. Well, it's 3 years later, and it might not be the new improved one where you can use it wired. You got just the new version of the DualShock 4 gives you the option to use it as a wired controller, and it has a little bit different. So you can see the light from the top or something. It's but whatever.
Can you cut your DualShock in half and make 2 controllers and give it to somebody else?
No, you can, but it takes a lot of work and technical know-how.
Right, they just completely discount all the benefits. Like you can't.
But we didn't ask for those benefits, T.
Yeah, people didn't want it, and that's the.
We didn't want the motion controls, all that gimmicky shit.
I'll tell you what.
You're willing to basically what is it? $20 difference for the most part.
Yeah,
like
as of
that. That is so egregious to you to give up the cool benefits. Like
yes, man, I didn't want to pay for it.
Come on.
Let's also not forget the fact that Microsoft charged $150 for a controller that had a swappable D-pad.
You got it.
It still is, though.
It's still $150. That's worth it though, because it's a traditional controller.
I mean, other than the confirmation that the Pro controller doesn't even have analog triggers, I was going to say, well, maybe the Switch Pro controller is right up there, other than you can't replace the analog sticks. But to me, that's an $80 difference between the Elite Xbox One and the Pro. So that is really the only, in my opinion, of all the hardware stuff, it's just like I like racing sims every once in a while. I like Trials Evolution, Trials Fusion. Games like that, you have to have analog triggers, and I just don't know why Nintendo thinks that that's not important anymore on controllers.
Not complaining enough.
Well, you know what? That's why that's how they're going to maybe get a lot of people to buy that Pro controller for $70.
Well, they said that that's clickable digital buttons. That was in an interview.
On the triggers?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They are.
On the Pro, because they didn't feel that way.
What? No, yeah. Remember, Rob? All you do is, and that's all it
You
is.
guys talked about it, just feeling like it was just
Nah.
The Wii U Pro controller is also digital, and you said analog in your.
Yeah,
in your
I
video.
actually realized that today when I picked up my Pro controller, and I was like, oh shit.
Somebody who watches this podcast too, he lives in New York, got to go, and first thing he said, just want to, because no one else is confirming this, he's like, yeah, digital, both Joy-Con and Pro.
God, yeah, I just don't remember that. Yeah.
So I mean, to me, that's
a fail.
It's not a deal breaker, but God, I thought they had learned And it's just more options for developers and getting some games.
How do you step forward with HD Rumble and step back, and with the
That's more like stepping
analog
aside.
Yeah, step sideways or whatever.
Sidestepping into sidestepping.
The digital triggers work great for a lot of games, but I like the Elite controller has a little thing you switch so it can go from digital to analog. That's one of the nice benefits. So it has like no travel, or it has regular travel for, like, if a shooter, you can switch it so it's just a little digital button basically. So yeah, that's a bummer. And like I said, it's some of these prices could be a result of Kimishima, and it sucks.
He knows how to play the game. I already know what's going on. He already knows.
He's a businessman.
He's gonna get he's gonna get the early adopter money. That's what he wants.
Yep.
Maybe they're over. I don't know. Overestimating the initial fervor for the Switch, because it was pretty overwhelming, especially with the original trailer. So maybe the investors and the board went all crazy and was like, oh, we can get people to pay for anything for this thing.
Which is funny because I think their stock dropped during the presentation.
Which, so it doesn't really add up. I don't know.
He's playing a luck game. He's like, hey man, look, I'm gonna just overcharge on these controllers, and then I'll get all that early new console money, and then wait a little while, and then we hit that the holiday season. Oh, look at this cool sale, and the sale's really just them being.
They might have to, just because they realize no one's buying the extra.
This will only affect you if you want extra, because the package is pretty solid.
Yeah, you don't really need it except for that packing game. Damn it.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's missing, right?
Because I think the price of the system is fine. From what I've seen, from what I've heard, people saying how.
People are pretty ticked about that price for some reason. Apparently $50 is a huge issue. Apparently,
yeah, $50 is a huge issue.
I don't get that. People that went out. It'd be a difference if it was like $350, but people are like, "Oh, it's $300." Man, it really should have been $250 because it's probably ain't gonna sell now. And you're like, it's $50. What?
That's where the rumors.
Get up in tax.
I think that's where the
rumors ruin it.
The rumor expectations led to the $250, but you guys saw that firsthand when it's undocked the screen. Everybody's just blown away. Said how amazing the screen quality is, and the games actually run just as good on. And the thing's small. Like, if you got an iPhone 6 Plus, that's basically the Switch. With some controllers on the side, the thing's small on the dock.
No, it's bigger than that, man.
iPod Touch.
It's bigger.
It's a lot bigger. I've got an iPhone 7 Plus, and no, the screen is bigger. The screen is bigger. Yeah.
I thought
I don't know what you're getting at, Juice, but do what?
Listen, an iPod Touch 6th Gen is $200.
Now, if you're talking about an iPad, it's different.
I'm talking about I'm talking
about an iPod. The little.
Three comparisons going on right now.
Yeah, my buddy has a 6 Plus, and it's bigger than my 5.2-inch Droid Turbo screen, and the Switch is a 6.2.
I got a 6 Plus. It's not that big.
Which is so interesting because it looks bigger, but I don't know. Maybe
no, it's not that it looks bigger. You know what? When I'm gonna have video footage with my phone sitting on the Zelda thing right in front of me while I'm holding the Switch thing in my hand, and you look at the difference of the Switch screen compared to my phone, they're not even close. The Switch is, in a way, that's good. I'm not saying this is a good thing. Like, it's bigger.
Yeah, there's no way that it's anywhere near the side.
Yeah, because think of how tall the sides of a screen has to be to put controllers that human adult hands can hold.
Yeah,
and you can't do that on an iPhone. You can't. No way.
No.
So.
Oh yeah, it is only.
And I had it in my hand. The damn thing. It's just way bigger, and it's beautiful. It's so pretty.
It's 5.5 is the iPhone 6 Plus, and the Switch is 6.2. So it's not even barely over. It's about 3/4 of an inch on a diagonal. Bigger, so
it's bigger than that. There's something not adding up. I'm sure. I'm 100.
Well, there's more girth. I mean, the Switch has more. Obviously, it's thicker, and it might be a different dimensions. It might be taller. I mean, it might be the screen might be diagonal, but it might actually be a taller, vertical screen. I mean, I don't know, but
which would be great because it's a lot bigger.
The point is that all that's in a. Let's say a little bit bigger than your iPhone 6 Plus or 7 Plus. And the docks, like someone had a comparison, it's like it's about 40% or less than the Wii U's, the main console. And it's like it's tiny, and to get stuff into that small of a space, it just costs more. Just like laptops cost more than desktops. It is what it is. I mean, they decided to make a small portable console that can be portable, and that's the result. If that same power was just in a standard like Wii U size case or something, and without a screen, it'd probably be a $200 system.
Yeah.
So, whatever. I mean, you can, if you don't like it, then don't buy the system, and it's just, that's all there is to it. If you're like me, and I think I'm glad it's 300 and not 350 like the Wii U. So
well,
anyway,
you wanted to hear something ridiculous is that I saw Breath of the Wild apparently is going to be 30 frames per second, and this one guy saw a comment and said only 30 frames per second looks like I'm not buying the Switch.
Yeah.
And it's like,
what a bitch.
What?
Does he A, not realize every 3D Zelda's been 30, and B, probably Sony PlayStation 4 owner, Horizon Zero Dawn's 30 frames per second, Uncharted 4 is 30 frames per second. So
but it's 50 gigs at least in size.
Yeah, it's I was talking to my Juice Opinion. Someone said, well, it's only 13 gigs. Well, that confirms Witcher 3 is a better game already, because that's like 40 gigs. And then some guys like, well, size doesn't mean make a game good or not, but Witcher will be better because Zelda was Witcher wasn't rushed out to make it for a launch of a new console.
You mean the game that was delayed 3 times?
Yeah. What? We first saw that game 3 years ago.
Yeah, like what?
This person legit said that Witcher's gonna probably be better because hinting at or suggesting that Zelda was rushed to make it to a new console launch title.
God.
And it's like the system was more than likely delayed to match Zelda. It was the other way around.
Yeah,
it's crazy. But
I'm hoping that was a troll comment.
Some people's kids, man.
I mean,
it's depressing.
I didn't get into it. I didn't comment back, but I was like, that's there's people like that out there that don't know. So, all right, the final thing, and I watch Digital Foundry because they do a pretty cool retro series, and I'm a tech guy. They do TV like settings for TVs, and they have all kinds of stuff. I don't agree with a lot of their focus on technology over games, but they do give Nintendo a lot of credit for their games. And they did a Zelda 19 minutes. They actually have the best direct capture I've seen of Zelda for Switch. On my PS4, on my TV, it looks amazing. Like, it looks so good. And they're really good about that kind of stuff. They were kind of shitting on some of the aspects of the game in the Switch, but one of the things they pointed out was, in Leveled Head, he's kind of stole this. This was my idea for like the last 2-3 days for this podcast. That's why I made it kind of a lesser thing, because it was already spoke on. But they were saying, well, it's just the most incredible handheld experience they've ever had. It's just this most powerful and just really impressive as a handheld, and as a docked home console. If you were just looking at only as a home console, then they're less impressed. So they were wondering if maybe Nintendo should market it as the world's most powerful portable that can easily be docked, and everything's in the box. You can just easily hook it up to your TV and have console experience on the go. But Nintendo's just so insistent on calling this a home console, and I think it's a valid point. Because gamers out there, they're shallow like that. So if they hear most powerful handheld, if they just see most powerful, that already gets certain people excited. So I guess get your guys' take on what you think. Should Nintendo possibly market this as a portable first and not as a console, and would that make a difference? So
sorry.
Mr. T, you wanted to go first, so go ahead.
I think the marketing it as a home console first is the better idea, because you can always switch and say, oh no, well, switch. I didn't even mean to do that, but you can always switch your marketing focus and say, oh, well, this is the most powerful hand. You can do that later. You can't go the other way, though. You can't go from, this is a powerful console to no, this is actually a home console, right? That's a harder sell. So
somebody pointed out just real quick that doing it as a home console, then they can charge home console prices for games.
That's another thing too.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
But I mean, obviously these are home console games. It's not like this is some kind of smoke and
That's
mirrors
true.
here. So
Yeah.
But yeah, that to me that's the best point I can come up with to why they would go with make it a home console first. And
that's a good point.
They took it doesn't have Street Pass, doesn't have Miiverse. Those are very, at least Street Pass was a very handheld thing, So it's hard to say, oh, this is our handheld, and not have those kind of cool like Mi Plaza niche handheld things that were so cool on the 3DS. So, but yeah, like I said, I think that's the main thing is they can go up to down. It's hard to go down up,
Mm-hmm. And like someone just pointed out, their reveal trailer was almost all exclusively off the dock. So they've been saying it's Nintendo's new home console, but
they're doing a little double speak.
Plus, they also have the 3DS going to be supported for the next year plus. So, I mean,
it also feels like it's undermining their home console. But it's like, oh yeah, Nintendo's just not making a home console anymore. Because if you call it a handheld, then what's your home console? And it's like, well, it's not like,
right.
It's like, are you going to continue to support the Wii U? No. Okay, then so essentially you have no home console, and you've given up on the home console market. Like it comes off as you just like slowly getting away from being who you are, and that's not true. I think, and it's like what T was saying. They're still selling like home console games. It's not like we're getting like only 3DS type experiences. So it feels like you're undermining them having a console in general by calling it a handheld.
That's true. That's a great point, actually, because every game basically we've seen is a home console game, whether it's being ported from Wii U or other, PS3, PS4, or Xbox One, or everything's a home console games that we've seen so far. Fast Racing Neo was on the Wii U.
Yeah.
Mario Kart, Splatoon, Skyrim, NBA. Those are all home console games. So yeah, that's
I mean, look at ARMS. We all like ARMS.
Mm-hmm.
ARMS is not a handheld game. Like
exactly.
The only reason, to me, I feel like the only reason it has traditional controls is so you can play it as a handheld.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking that.
I think that's the goal. Yeah.
Right.
If you have them attached to the screen you're playing, you can't be waving your arms around on the train.
Hey man, it's good for those people who want those traditional controls, man.
Or swinging at that little screen, like that's not a good, that's not a good thing.
So that guarantees right there, every single, even other than something like 1-2 switch, which there's no option to just play it on the go.
You couldn't do it really.
So, but that guarantees you any game that like something like ARMS that has motion controls is guaranteed to have standard controls because it's going to have the portable mode with both the Joy-Cons attached to the screen.
Mm-hmm.
So
we just came up with that point right here. I think
boom.
Another
I actually think that was probably part of the reason why they didn't put 1-2 Switch as a back-end title, because it doesn't represent the main gimmick of the console.
True.
It only represents the motion controls. Like, it's like the whole point of the console is the dock it and undock it. I'm like, and the game that you pack in with it is the only game that doesn't have the feature.
Right.
It should be packed in with some Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's what I'll say is there's really no wrong answer here with this whole debate on what the best way to market it is. And I'll tell you that before going to the event in New York, I definitely without question would have said, oh yeah, market it as a home console first. And I still want them to do that. I would prefer them to do it because that's the thing that, I'm still so very excited to be able to do. However, after having spent a day actually playing it in all the different settings and different controller options and really holding that thing in my hand, I have to say that there's something about how fantastic that console experience is on that device, on that screen, with how big the screen is and how beautiful and vibrant the screen is and sharp the graphics look and how great those controls are. It is so effective as the Switch tablet device that I do think there is a humongous reason why they should focus on that portable aspect. And as we've talked about, they have done that.
Yeah.
So they have console games they can focus on terms of software and say, this is the console gaming. But at the same time, that portable experience, I think, is a very smart way to market this as well. So there's a correct answer for both sides. I love that it is a console, but I don't think it's wrong for them for what I want. I don't think Digital Foundry was wrong to say that. As someone else who's also obviously played this thing like they have, like, I think that that's where they were coming from. And I'm telling you guys, like, the way that thing looks and plays in Switch mode, and Robert, you can tell me if you agree or not, that's not a bad way to focus their marketing, man, because they kick ass at what that thing is.
I think the marketing is perfect because you're not leaving anybody behind. If you start off with your handheld foot, you're going to turn off a lot of guys who you probably would have got had you just focused on handheld. Because a lot of people just don't like handheld gaming. A lot of gamers out there want the traditional console experience, and you go with that foot first, but you show people, eight gamer multiplayer LAN. Stuff like that. And you show the accessories and you show people, holding it in their hand. I saw a lot of people holding it in their hands, even though this is, mostly marketed as a, home console. So they're doing a little bit of double speak in a way. And I think that's the best way to do it. I think they should. I mean, I think that's the best way.
This device literally calls for that. That's what's so cool about it. Like, I think it's nothing but a good thing. And I think that what they're doing so far is the right thing. And if they continue really strong messaging and get really strong marketing and commercials and get them in the right places, like during sports games and in movie theaters and all that shit we've talked about, it's going to be a hit. They just need to keep up doing just what they're doing, like you said, T.
I cut off Robert, I think. Sorry, man. I think you were going to say something.
No, I was just going to say that I feel like obviously a balance of both would be perfect, but it's like, that tablet is fantastic. It really is fantastic, and it is incredibly clean to look at and what you could do with the tablet itself. But I think the best thing they could do is somehow within 30 seconds of an ad is kind of split it in between. Even if that means literally show a game for like 20 seconds and then the last 10 seconds is someone picking it up on a tablet. Honestly, I don't know. It's like something. Whatever, something like that, but I feel like they just got to balance it mostly.
Well, I think a Nintendo Switch trailer, because of the gimmick of the console, it lends itself for double speak. Because I mean, the whole idea that I can take a home console game with me and play it on the go lends itself to, or you could also look at it as the reverse of me taking a handheld gaming console and putting it on the TV. Like, you really wouldn't have to change anything about a commercial. Because the main gimmick of the console you're selling me on lends itself to be considered both ways. So you can consider – it's like I've already heard people consider it like a handheld being treated as a console. You can do it both ways. You can view it either way, and neither of you would be wrong. So they don't have to say it. No. They don't need to do anything. Honestly, they just need to keep pushing that double talk narrative, which they'll naturally push because that's the gimmick of the console.
Just keep doing what they're doing. I think they're doing it the right way.
Is Retro?
I see Terrell's point a bit differently, though, because that was one of my issues where I feel it's better to market it as a console. Because imagine if you have like your Game Boy Advance or your 3DS and you imagine yourself linking it to your TV, then you imagine a shitty quality giant ass thing. So it's more believable for people when you market it as a console you can take with you. Then in your head the quality stays the same, but it's harder to imagine quality getting better from your 3DS to your TV, for example.
Because it doesn't.
Exactly. That's what we've always wanted. I think it's me as a handheld gamer, that's what I've always wanted from back when I first saw like the Game Gear. Like, I always wanted to be able to take my Sega Genesis on the go, like that was a cool thing.
Yeah, let's just be realistic here. There really, other than the technology limitations, there really should have never been two separate systems from Nintendo. Like, you want, Mario Kart 7, Mario Kart 8, like, coming a couple years apart. Like, if the technology was there, I think Nintendo would have done this a long time ago. Mm-hmm. And the fact that now, and I don't know if they'll ever get away from this, like, you don't have to worry about that anymore. Like, it is genuine, or realistically, it's both, and it does both well. And now you have the one library, and it's just like, so whatever they choose, and maybe in Japan they'll lean more towards the portable nature, because that seems like all the devs are saying is like, oh, this one Sony dev, and I forget who it was.
Oh, you're probably talking about the guys who are bringing Disgaea 5.
Well, somebody that doesn't have a game announced yet, and they switched.
Oh, okay. Because Disgaea 5 developers said something similar too.
And they're like, we can't ignore the portable nature of this system. So
right.
Well, yeah, and that actually might go into the cost of the system. If this is really meant to be a hybrid, then they're going to lose money because now they don't have two markets to make money off of. So how do you recoup the money? Well, you do it with online subscriptions, and you also do
high
it
prices.
Yeah, overcharging on damn. It's like, oh yeah, but it's like, well, why would you do that? I mean, because who is this for? I'm like, well, it's for a Nintendo fan, especially when Pokemon comes out. If Pokemon comes out this year at we get an announcement at E3, and that comes out in like the fall, people are gonna automatically pay for that service purely because how am I gonna play Pokemon if I can't trade or battle online? Like,
right,
yeah.
So
yeah, they really might be.
Go ahead.
I was going to say they really might be just kind of like what you're saying, waiting to unveil the whole pricing and structure of that for when the killer app is going to be available.
Right.
Yeah, and that also will submit the hybrid function. Because as of right now, all the games we've gotten are games that would have been considered console games anyway. But Pokemon is a franchise that's been historically known for being a handheld franchise. So when you see that show up, that's a definite, that's a confirmation of we're at hybrid status.
Yeah.
In which case you realize that you're only buying one Nintendo console. Therefore, everything that you're paying for is a premium because you're paying for just the one system versus two systems.
Yeah.
Other than like third-party multi-plat parity, which you're likely not going to get.
Nah.
I don't see anything to be down on the Switch about because I'm looking
at Western third party, T.
But I just said that. I'm looking at it like, dude, like all those. Oh, I want another 2D Metroid. It's going to be so much easier to do that now. You know?
Oh my God!
It's going to be glorious with all that power.
Oh, the power! It'll be so beautiful.
Well, let me ask you, with like, if this thing, and I think it will, like, sell like 60 million, just like the 3DS or above, you don't think third party will want to get in on that?
Of course.
I think but it depends on if they want to get on it like the Wii or if they want to get on it like the GameCube, where we got the same games like on the GameCube, but on the Wii we got completely different games.
Well, I don't like the 3DS, but you can ignore the 3DS's install base if you're a big, Western third party company.
Actually, most Western third party did ignore the 3DS.
Well, they did, right? Because you had to basically have another team make a different type of game. Because of the difference in power and all that stuff.
Well, this is what pisses me off. People, go ahead.
I'm just saying that was pretty much it. Like because of the touchscreen and all the aspects of making a handheld 3DS game, you won't have that now. Like so, I think it would be a lot easier for them to make that jump. Even they can't ignore the install base. I went the way they did the 3DS. I think.
Well, I was gonna say. What pisses me off is this is because we have this narrative going around that the Switch is going to have third party, and what they're really referring to is Western third party.
Right.
But the 3DS's install base is based off a Japanese third party by itself.
Right.
Like there really is no Western third party developer, not that I can think of now.
Not past the launch, really.
Yeah, that even supported the console, and people are so concerned about it's not getting Mass Effect Andromeda. That didn't mean a damn thing for the console that has more units out than the PlayStation 4 at the moment. Oh, but it's been out longer. Well, I mean, you're holding the Switch to the same standards as the PlayStation 4, so I don't see the problem with me making that comparison. But that's just my whole thing. Like they don't, I don't know why anyone who expected anyone, and I think
I never expected it. I know a lot of people did though.
Well, it's just that whole even if the console had parity, because everyone's argument is that Nintendo should have just made a traditional console. People aren't going to switch brands just because there's a console out there that has the same games.
Yeah, I don't know why they think.
It's like I've been playing Call of Duty for years on Xbox platforms. Of course, I'm going to randomly switch to a Nintendo platform.
Yeah, I don't like Nintendo games, so that's not going to bring me over. That's not like, I can get all the the great third-party games and Nintendo games. Well, if you like Nintendo games, you'd have bought a Nintendo system already. Like, so.
Yeah. Well, aren't you excited for Mario Odyssey on the PlayStation 5, man? I'm waiting for that Crash Bandicoot DLC.
Third-party multiplats are for mostly Nintendo fans or the casual Nintendo fan, hardcore Nintendo fans or the casual, to have something more to play on the console. It's not going to bring anybody over. That's a joke.
They need to. I'm just glad that they did exactly what I wanted, which was work towards Japanese third party, because the Wii U was sorely lacking that, considering that they usually are in pretty good talks, and especially considering how well the 3DS did. Because people were like, "Oh, well, why are they getting things like this Gaia 5 or Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2?" Mm-hmm. We didn't even get that on the Wii U. That's a major step up in my opinion. Shit.
Right.
So, yeah, I was kind of reading in the live chat and stuff. I heard quite a bit what you're saying, but I just wanted to go back to Terrell saying the first time you see a 3DS or a portable, like a franchise known for portable, finally hit the Switch, because everything we've seen so far has been, Wii U console games coming to the Switch, and it's like that first time. And what do you think the first portable franchise? Do you think it'll be Pokemon? Do you think
Animal Crossing?
Animal Crossing. I mean, that's been on home consoles.
Yeah, but Animal Crossing has been a console game.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
these days, people mostly, because of New Leaf, see it as a portable game, and it is still better.
Well, that's true, because Fire Emblem's also gone the same way too.
Yeah, I don't know about that though, but City Folk has sold a ton, regardless of
as of now, the rhetoric is Animal Crossing is handheld.
Or is it because it hasn't come out since 2008?
Yeah, that's exactly.
You know what I mean? If it was on Wii U, people still say, yeah, it's it's a home console, but people forget stuff after 10 years.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter which one it is. I guess Pokemon, because I can't think of any other hand.
I think
it doesn't
Pokemon
matter
also.
if Animal Crossing is
this year
portable or not. If people consider it a handheld or a home console game,
well, I would argue
it's going to be on the Switch
works better as portable anyway.
It's going to be on the Switch regardless, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I definitely think that's a 2018 Switch game is Animal Crossing. And
Animal Crossing works better. To me, I think Animal Crossing works better as a portable game than a console one anyway.
Icarus Uprising or Icarus Uprising 2? That's a handheld game, not anymore.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. That's the thing is no game is just a console or just a handheld anymore anyway. Which is so great. But I just want to back up. I believe in Pokemon being a huge thing for this. So I'm with you, Terrell. Yeah. I still think Pokemon's coming soon, and that's going to be the first.
I keep saying this November, you'll get a new Pokemon.
That's when you think it'll release.
I'm about to say you'll get a Pokemon and a Mario, and that's it. It's over.
It's over.
Those two games in themselves. That's a disgusting holiday situation. All right.
Yeah.
And you've been playing Zelda at that point for like 6 months. It doesn't even matter.
And don't forget
still
Skyrim.
Not even 5%.
Skyrim.
Don't be dissing Skyrim, man. I'm waiting for that. I can't wait. I'm ready.
I'm curious to see how well that game sells.
I bought Skyrim twice already. I bought the regular version. I bought the Legendary or.
Yeah, I bought it twice also. I don't know if I'll buy it.
I just bought the launch day, played like 211 hours, and I'm ready to put another 200 in.
I'm going to buy it again for the Switch.
Yeah.
Actually, let me go look up how much the remaster did.
I've never really beaten it, so I might just beat it on the Switch.
We'll see. We'll see if I pick it up. But here's a crazy thing. All right. Back on the Dreamcast, I had a couple friends big into basketball. They didn't have a Dreamcast because they were waiting for PlayStation 2 or
PlayStation 2,
Xbox. But they saw that NBA 2K commercial, so they talked me into buying. I think it was Dreamcast games for what, $50, $40? I think
they were 50
or 50.
50 at the time, 49.
I picked up NBA 2K1, and I had a blast playing that game. And I have not purchased or played an NBA game since then. And I hate to support EA, or no, that's not EA, so I can feel good about it. I'm actually kind of excited to, and I could play any game. Like I play NBA 2K17 on my PC, PS4, and the thought of playing a basketball game and being on Nintendo because I want to support a game that I was kind of considering picking up the last 2K when it was on sale on Steam, but. I think that would be more a game I'd want to play with friends, and if one of you guys ever picked it up, I think
I'd pick it up.
I'm getting it for sure.
I'd pick it up.
I still buy 2K games. So
if I picked it up on,
I'll be passing.
If I picked it up on Steam, I'd never ever play against anybody I knew. So but yeah. Anyway, so we're gonna cut this discussion off here. Obviously, there's more to talk about. There's a Fire Emblem Direct in 2 days.
Ooh, yes.
Wow.
My body is Reggie.
It's
Nintendo goodness starting the year.
There will be
So
a lot,
let's just-
I'll say this right now. I'm gonna be shit posting a lot on Twitter. So
Wait,
But-
Terrell, when did you know it was Fire Emblem Warriors? Like from what point in the trailer?
because when they
when they came back and said it.
No. When
The music.
when you see the teaser trailer, it's not only the music but also the little orbs that you see shooting
Team
around.
Ninja.
You know what I knew?
They
I
have
saw
the swords. They have
And
the
it's that
swords.
Team Ninja.
Yeah, for me, once it said Koei Tecmo, I said, no way, Fire Emblem Warriors? That's literally the logo popped up. I
Well,
said,
you know,
no
put it
way,
this way.
Fire Emblem Warriors?
I had a
And it actually
suspicion it was
it.
Prime Warrior, but I'm talking about like visual confirmation was when I saw
Yeah.
the swords and the orbs when they were flying around.
Yeah,
I
man.
thought that's what it was at first, but I wasn't 100% sure until I started hearing the music. I was
Yeah, but
like,
that music was so damn iconic. It was like, oh,
Yeah.
all right, I see what's going on.
All right, so let's make quick predictions. What are you going to see? Someone guessed a Fire Emblem movie announcement.
Oh, that'd be
The
some
anime.
shit.
A movie?
If we got an anime, bruh,
Terrell's
Yeah,
going
an
to
anime.
lose shit.
I will be like Nintendo Ultra. I'll be running in the woods and shit. I have no shit. I've been wanting a Fire Emblem anime since like Awakening.
What if it's
came
live
out.
action? What if it's live action? What would you
Yeah,
do?
well, that could work. I mean,
All right,
live action
nah.
for Fire Emblem could work.
It would
Nah.
be though, man.
Don't.
But if it's an anime, I'd be fucking gone. Don't even
Yeah.
call me.
That's what it
I'd
should be.
gone.
it's got to be anime.
Let's start with Terrell. What do you think they're going to show for the direct? Like, is there just going to be 2 things, 3 things? Like, just what do you think is going to be in the direct?
Okay. Well, I know recently they started working on a Fates manga. I don't think it's gonna be. If it is an anime, I'd be in tears. But I'm not betting on it. I would say it probably is gonna be mobile. We'll get like an official trailer for Warriors, the Fire Emblem mobile game 2, maybe a release date for one of them. I'm thinking we probably would get it. Well, actually, no, because I don't. Well, if Animal Crossing is supposed to come out too, I would think Fire Emblem Mobile would come out earlier, like this year.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the mobile game coming out in like the summer, and then like Warriors coming out maybe in maybe early. Well, if
Yeah, they
still
didn't say that's a 2017 anymore. That's not on the 2017 list.
I'm gonna still take a guess and say it's 20. Well, because when we saw Hyrule Warriors, we saw that at the end of 2013, and then we got it at the end of 2014. So if it is still 2017, I would guess it's probably like fall or holiday. Because really, a holiday right now, the only games we got down there officially is like Mario,
Which is huge. That's no joke, though.
I mean, it's not no joke, but I mean, like you know how Nintendo likes to throw a whole bunch of shit in the holiday season, so it wouldn't surprise me to have that down there as like the October game.
October, I was just thinking October game.
That's
So
true, yeah.
I would bank we're gonna get a full official trailer for it. Release date will be October because I mean, think about it. Nintendo's whole thing about pushing this event back until January to even or pushing the release of the console to March was for games. I'm banking some of these games are already done. Like a lot of people think Mario's probably almost done, and they're just holding it for holiday. So it wouldn't surprise me if the first footage we saw of Fire Emblem Warriors is like borderline halfway done, if not more. So it wouldn't surprise me if that game was like an October release or early 2018 release.
Let's move down the line here. Robert, what are you expecting or prediction? I guess prediction.
I'm gonna just say, to be safe, is the mobile and Fire Emblem Warriors. We'll get kind of a trailer, maybe some actual gameplay of maybe a walkthrough level or something, and then just the release date or release month. I don't know. But I definitely think it would probably still maybe be this year. And October actually sounds really good. I actually like the idea of October. That could be good. But if not, it would be January. That's it.
Rob, do you have any different thoughts or guesses?
A little bit, yeah. I do expect, like the first details on the mobile thing, which is going to be really cool. I'm excited to see what that'll be. And obviously Fire Emblem Warrior stuff, whether it's just like a complete trailer or whether it's actual gameplay and a release date. I do think it's likely for 2017, and I sure freaking hope so. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but Hyrule Warriors was an October game, right? September
Yeah.
or October?
September.
So
Oh,
you're
It was
September,
August
Or
or
was it
September.
No, September.
Yeah, because
20
Bayonetta was
September, like,
October.
26 or
Bayonetta
something.
was October.
It
So
came out before Bayonetta, I remember.
So September
Yeah.
probably.
So if that's when they released Hyrule Warriors, maybe they would do the same with Fire Emblem Warriors. I don't know how much non-gaming stuff I expect. If there was anything, I do think it would be something like an anime. I don't know about a movie or a manga, but I just don't really see them doing that. And simply because they're giving us a direct on one game, I feel like there's going to be something more. This will probably be 10 or 15 minutes long. And I think, Terrell, I know you won't want to hear it, but I think they're going to touch on, even if it's the slightest tease, the next true actual Fire Emblem title. Even if it's just...
Damn you.
even
Come
if it's
on,
just-
man.
What's
You
the
took
big
you
deal?
took mine.
We
That was
just
mine.
got the game
I'm
last
sorry, T.
year.
I'm sorry, T. Well, here's the thing. It could be something where it's like, hey, Fire Emblem Mobile, summer, Fire Emblem Warriors, October. And sometime in 2018, our next Fire Emblem game that's finally portable and home console, we'll tell you about that later. Something like that, you know? So,
I would honestly hope no. Please
I hope
don't.
so.
Yeah, I
They're
hope so too. That
They're
would be
gonna
good.
burn us out on the
Nope.
franchise.
No, that's,
Well,
they're going to
then
bring
get
you out.
burned.
I'm ready. Bring it on.
I'm ready for it too. Like a lot of people, you know,
I would play because it's on the TV.
Yeah, console gamers haven't played Fire Emblem on the console for a while.
And that's a good point too. So, I mean, I don't want to ruin your Fire Emblem. Don't get me wrong, but I just think that's what they might do. So that's my guess. That's my theory.
We'll see.
Retro Death, do you have any different opinion or?
I'm gonna be the negative one. I'm gonna say we're gonna get like maybe like a 10-15 minute thing. I think it's gonna basically 99% the mobile game. And I'm gonna say maybe either an anime or a movie, because we know Nintendo wants to do more with movies. Because I feel the Fire Emblem Warriors, they showed us like a teaser of 5 seconds of like a shield. I think it's gonna be late 2018, 2019, maybe even for a release. I doubt we'll see something from Fire Emblem Warriors until maybe E3 next year or something.
That's way off.
Yeah, that's.
I know.
Wow.
It's
Meza T-
possible.
Tease
Yeah.
was stolen, but what do you
Yeah,
got?
mine's pretty similar. Obviously, I thought maybe a tease at a console game. I think we might even get, like I said, we might get the quarter 3 or whatever for the Fire Emblem Warriors, but pretty similar to everybody else's.
All right, so mine's different. Definitely mobile. I think mobile will be in the majority. I'm really torn on if we'll see Warriors gameplay, but I think we will. I think. I mean, maybe they already had the direct plan just for the mobile, but I think that's gonna be the majority of it. Maybe some Warriors gameplay, and here's the big thing. Here's my big
geez.
prediction.
Oh man. Bring it on.
Fire Emblem Fates Complete Edition for the Switch coming
Oh,
out.
just for
Well,
Terrell.
you could get away with that.
Yeah.
Is that gonna be HD?
They
Yeah.
better be. Hey man, we got feet now. It better be HD.
Yeah, so that's my prediction.
It's
I
a
feel like
good
people be
one.
mad. I think people might be mad for that one. No, in all honesty, though, considering that game's not even a year
Here's
old
the reason I would actually be mad, because I've gone through Birthright, which I freaking love, and I'm so ready to do Conquest. And it's like, if that came out on the Switch, you'd be like, well, I want to get that version, but I don't want to play through Birthright again. So I would be
You
mad.
could probably
'cause it's
select
like-
them. I would think you'd be able
Yeah, I'm
to
about to say it'd probably be like a legit choice this time when you bought the complete edition. Like when you get to that chapter 5,
Yeah.
and it just be like you pick your path, and instead of like in the 3DS version where it's like, well, pay $39 and then you can play that path. It'd be you pick the path and it actually flow better. Actually, the game pacing would be a lot better purely for that reason, because it would just flow into the.
That's
part.
a good idea. I just was thinking, like, how just to complete the experience, play it all one way or whatever. But I don't know. It's a good point.
It'd be like
the
special edition for Fates, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say Fire Emblem Warriors is gonna be first half 2018. I mean, they're not gonna set on a Q1 or 2. It's
very possible. It's tough though, because think about it. Like, the mere fact that we're getting this direct between the reveal of the Switch and the announcement of the date and the actual launch date seems like it's meant to also be like, the timing of this says there has to be Switch related something coming from it.
Mhm.
It's not even so. Yes, I totally agree. A big focus has to be on that mobile thing, but I think a big focus has to be on some Switch related stuff. Like the timing of this screams talk more about Switch games.
Yeah.
Like, hopefully we can hope,
We'll see. So it's exciting, and maybe there's going to be a weekly something to look forward to. Who knows?
No, yeah, because if it's for the Warriors game, they could do what they did with Smash and casually announce new characters throughout it.
Well, I meant just for
That'd be
news,
cool.
Nintendo news.
Oh, I know, that's true.
They did that for Hyrule Warriors also, kind of.
Yeah.
To a lesser degree.
Yeah,
it was more
profile.
for the Japanese audience because I don't think they thought it was going to sell as well in the States as it did.
Yeah. And Hyrule Warriors was 2014 title, so I mean if they started it, I wouldn't think right away, but the Triple Jezu, he said this like 10 times in the chat. He thinks it's going to be a launch title for the Switch.
No way.
No way.
I mean,
we all want that.
I would be in tears, sir.
Yeah.
That's just what to be stated.
It's not impossible, 100% impossible, but I would say very unlikely. So,
if you know Nintendo, they ain't gonna do that. I just couldn't see that.
Well, I feel like
before
it's
the
a little
game
late.
comes out.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say we're gonna wrap this up. We're at 2.5 hours, so
let's do it.
Are you surprised?
Quick final thoughts, and then we'll get out of here. We'll continue the discussion next week. So, Terrell.
Good podcast. A lot of cool talk about the Switch. Thanks, Retro Death, for coming on and hanging out. It's been fun. And I look forward to Wednesday. So yeah, life's a game, play to win, guys.
All right. And is there any announcement of the time for that direct?
5 p.m. Eastern. So it'll be like literally as I'm
at work.
I'll be leaving work as the shit starts. So it's gonna be playing in my car while I'm driving home.
It's a US there's a US direct and probably a Japanese direct.
I would assume it was announced during the Treehouse. So my assumption is it's definitely US.
Okay.
I don't know if there's gonna be one for Japan or not though.
All right. Well, good stuff. Looking forward to that. So, Robert, final thoughts.
So I saw Rogue One for a
Get him out of here. Get him out.
Give some game thoughts.
What's
some podcast related?
So mad. He's like, come on, man.
So I played the Switch, but yeah, guys, the Switch is in less than 2 months. Get your underwear ready because you're gonna need them. And I'll see you guys another time.
All right, Rob.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, I'm in heaven and still on cloud 9 million, obviously, because Robert and I did get to play the Switch and it's still like consuming my brain. So it was really good to be able to have this podcast and just chat about it with you guys, with my bros and my homies, who unfortunately haven't had this opportunity yet, and just talk more about what we're excited for, what looks good, how the presentation went, what's going to happen with Fire Emblem. It all feels really good. And, if there's any, piece of advice as one of the few people fortunate enough to have gotten my hands on the new console so far is, unless something really bad happens, this thing is going to be a hit. I just feel so good about it, you guys. And I hope that helps other people feel good about it. Robert, maybe you agree.
100%.
Well, I know you agree, obviously. So it's just a good time. It was a great podcast to chat about this. And Retro Death, I am so glad, just like Terrell said, really glad you made it on today, bro, so we could actually meet and hang out and chat, man. So from all the way across the world, it was good to have you here. So, yeah, I'll catch you guys next time.
All right, Meza T, what's your final thoughts?
It was very strange to sit on a toilet for 2 hours and not use it.
I was wondering what that smell was.
I thought you do that all the time when you're playing your Wii U, right?
Sitting here on this toilet and not using it is very strange. But
does your ass hurt? Is my question.
Yeah, I gotta go numb by now.
It was all right. It wasn't bad. I just want to end it with a quick little song.
Oh God.
Switch is the shit. I'm down with it. You can go ahead and call me a switch bitch because I love it. Yeah.
When you getting that record out, man? I want to hear that mixtape.
That's it for me.
Playing Nintendo.
No, fuck it. I think the song was better.
Great way to go out.
Play Nintendo Fools.
All right, and last but not least, our special guest tonight, Retro Death. Got any final thoughts before we call it a night?
Yeah, I just want to thank you guys for inviting me in your home. I'm glad that it feels like every week when I watch you guys, like I'm standing in the rain, looking inside of a house, and everybody's having fun.
It's so sad.
I hope it's not my room. Is my question.
It's great to be invited and to be a part of it for once. So thanks for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, if you want to continue the discussion next week, we're gonna talk more about this. So I know it's late for you. Appreciate you staying up to watch the podcast live?
I work weekends, so I can afford it.
All right, that's cool.
Sweet.
So good to have you on, everybody. There's a link to Retro Death's channel in the description of this video.
Great channel, yeah.
Yeah, and you don't upload a ton, but when you do it, it counts. And then check out Rob and Robert's videos of their impressions of the Switch hardware and games. I got the links to those in the description below. And yeah, so it's good to be talking with you guys because there's other podcasts out there. There's other people out there. Like if you went, you could go join that, and it would be an all negative podcast about the Switch. Because negativity breeds more negativity, and we're giving some like the online stuff, we're giving some slack right now. We'll have to wait for more information, but it's just great. I mean, how much more excited I am now about the Switch than I was 2.5 hours ago, just talking about with other people that are excited and open-minded gamers. We got a great comment last week about how open-minded we are in discussing things, and I think that's how it is. Yeah, we're Nintendo fans first, but we're also just gamers, and we look at everything, I think, in a more not maybe logical way, but we don't let our emotions get the better of us, and I think it's for the better. So great discussion. This is one of my favorite podcasts we've done in a while, and the views, we had a lot of people watch tonight. So obviously the Switch, whether you love it or hate it, a lot of people are tuning in. They're talking about it. It's on Twitter everywhere, YouTube everywhere. There's live reactions, or quote unquote live reactions, to the new Zelda trailer with like 40 to 100,000 views, with people with like 500 subscribers. So I mean, everybody's just excited about this, and I mean, not everybody, but a lot of people are, and I think it's going to be a success. And hopefully Nintendo, keeps this momentum going with the Fire Emblem Direct, and let's get some information about the UI and the online stuff in Nintendo before March 3rd. So hopefully there's more directs or something, Treehouse stuff, anything between now and then. So really great discussion, and appreciate everybody for tuning in. And we'll see you next week. We'll be discussing the Fire Emblem Direct and more Nintendo Switch goodness. So until then, we'll see you.